And it's all legal.
Down, baby.
Who the hell is this?
Alan, you have been described by your enemies as evil, insane, manipulative. Who are you?
To examine it would be to demystify it.
And you'll get a ticket with a tasty groove, okay?
Wow. Definitely makes me cringe.
Very, very, very painful.
1, 2, 3, pick it. Pick it. Come on. God damn it. Put you one time. Pick it. What the
You're disgusting.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7
You ignorant trick bastard.
WMMS.
Cleveland.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hi, greetings. Hi, all that. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, greetings. My name is Alan Cox. Thank you for showing up. Say hi to Bill Squire, who's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs, everyone. Thanks for listening to and watching this episode of the Alan Cox Show titled Shame of Groans.
Can we stop talking about it now?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I really
obviously
have nothing.
one more because everybody wants to
That's it. Yeah.
get it off their chest.
It's going to be my Flicks and Bill this week, and then I'm done with it.
Game of Thrones
Forever.
is?
Who's on it with you?
James Douglas.
Can I come?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
Mary Santora is the owner of those dulcet tones you hear currently.
Hi, guys. No babies.
And she had a date this weekend we're going to get to. We get a lot. It's a short show today because there's a 6:10 Tribe game. We've got a lot of stuff to squeeze into the program today.
So many things.
So we're going to squeeze in as many things as we can. Say hi to Pound Cake, who's back behind the glass.
Afternoon, white people.
If you'd like to join us telephonically, please do. 216-578-1007. 800-348-1007. You can send me a text. 35192. Now, is that number? You want to watch the show? You can. There's a live video stream at AlanCockshow.com. There is a chat room that is part of that. A chat room? Nay. A community. A brother and sisterhood, if you will, of like-minded individuals. And some, I don't know. And you can listen anywhere you like on the iHeartRadio app. Available all throughout North America, including South Mexico, Northern Canada, Eastern United States, all of North America, Southern North America, Northern
South
Mexico, and Southern Canada. I think I've gotten that all covered there. Bill and I were at Sonic Temple over the weekend.
Yes.
And a lot of fun.
So
lot
much
of fun, yes. We weren't there yesterday because it basically looked like a giant wall of storms were coming through, and then that's precisely what happened. To the point where you didn't get to perform.
I didn't even get to perform on Sunday. No, they canceled the comedy tent. They canceled Chevelle, and people were pissed about that. And Bring Me the Horizon.
You think about the people who travel for those bands.
Yeah,
and
it's such a bummer. And I see the behind the scenes where these people are doing everything they can to try and make things happen.
Yeah,
and they are like, you've never seen stress on someone's face like you do when these guys realize they have to cancel a band like Chevelle. When I think they had to cancel them last year too.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Well, there were more cancellations than performances yesterday.
Yesterday,
that's what I read. Yeah.
Did they refund the ticket money? Do you know? Like, if,
nah, you're
oh,
adorable.
weather permitting, I'm sure it says.
Yeah,
this is
sweet.
Okay, this is an outdoor event.
You are the cutest thing. Brittany has already stuck her little head in here and asked a question.
All the bands still get paid, so if you feel like I still got paid, I didn't have to perform. I just got paid to watch rock bands all weekend, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you were there all 3 days. We were there on Saturday, and we were going to we stayed over in Columbus, got a free hotel room, as it turned out. We were on our way down to Columbus, and the hotel that I had booked calls, and the guy goes, yeah, we've got a maintenance issue, and so your room is not available, and we're overbooked because of everything going on. There was a volleyball tournament. There was a CrossFit championship. There was Sonic Temple.
Yeah.
I mean, So the guy goes, so we're going to put you up downtown in a nicer place, and we'll pay for it. I was
Nice.
like, beautiful.
Deal.
Sold.
So we were right down there. It's fantastic.
I love how they said nicer place. Like, not this heap of crap you were going to stay
Well,
in.
no. I mean, I'm editorializing there. It ended up being a nicer place. But yeah.
I was not in the nicest of hotels, but it worked out great because it was walking distance.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And shout out to... I'm on 2 hours of sleep right now.
Hey, do what you gotta do, man.
Seth and Haley were great. They let me crash in their hotel room this weekend because my room fell through. And
Was that the big kid?
Yeah.
I was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching Lamb of God. Or
Yeah.
we were going in between acts up on the riser, right to the side of the stage, and this kid was like, "Hey, Alan, I'm staying with Bill." I'm like, "Oh, cool, all right." But he said he was staying with you rather than you were staying with them.
I was staying with them, but
yeah,
we all stayed together. They were great. I became friends with them. They were awesome. It worked out. I was totally
Was
ready.
anyone worried about getting diarrhea?
I mean, never.
So, well, you ever been in a hotel room like with someone, like a friend or something, and one
Yeah.
gets diarrhea?
Yeah.
Not
We
diarrhea, but
we got to
it's
send the
like-
other one out. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, well, there's
So
none
what?
of that.
They were in one queen and you were in another. Or did
Yeah.
you sleep on the pullout, or how did this work?
There was 2 queen beds. I slept in one. They slept
Guy
in
and
the
his
other.
girlfriend.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. They were very cool. I was totally ready to not stay there if I had to commute back and forth. Like if I got weird vibes from them from the get go, I was like, you know what? I'll just.
It's not that
It's
far.
2 hours,
I mean,
and then I probably would have just skipped Saturday and went down on Sunday.
But these
Yeah.
were listeners who said, "Hey, you can stay with us."
Yeah.
How did they know you needed a place to stay?
Because I mentioned it last week on the air.
yeah,
Oh.
Thursday.
And then they hit me up.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And they're like, hey, stay with us. We're walking distance from the venue. I'm like, hell yeah. And
Yeah.
it was so fun. Friday, got down there real early, watched a bunch of bands, loved Ghost, Scooby-Doo music, satanic Scooby-Doo music is
Yep.
what somebody mentioned to me that they are, and they're really fun. And then System of a Down was great. And then Fever 333 stole the show for me.
They're a great band.
They are such a great band.
Yep.
Great live band. The Struts were great. And then was front row for the Foo Fighters because they were letting everybody back in, and I was already in the venue. I'm like, well, I'm going to go right up against them.
You're a brave man. So you couldn't be up on the side then?
No, they shut all that stuff down.
Did they really?
Yeah. They usually do that for like the headliner.
I guess so.
Yeah. So
because they shoved Saturday we were up there watching Gojira, and then a guy took pyro in the face. Their bass player took pyro in the face. I got it on video. I was Instagram living it, and it just so happened that they had all this pyro. We could feel it up where we were. And I was like, oh man, the way the wind was blowing, I was like, man, something's gonna happen. It just kind of looked like
hair
that.
catch on fire.
Yeah, and the bass player, he got a face full of pyro, and he like ran off, and like Randy from Lamb of God ran out to sing with him or scream at him, and then he was taking photos or whatever, and then the guy ran off. And then he ran back out, but the whole side of his face was like red. And he's throwing water in it, and
That's terrible.
that's rock and roll. But then we were watching Lamb of God, and we didn't even catch the whole set because started to hear lightning, and so
Yeah.
they're like, everybody off. So they get everybody off those side racks, And
It just sounds so. That just screams anxiety for me because I feel like I'm gonna get trampled or like.
Nah,
it's
it
just
wasn't anything like
scary.
that.
well, no, if you were down where Bill said he
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you're
was like-
brave if you're front of the rails for the headliner.
and it was
we were up
great.
top on the sides.
And I've,
yeah.
I've done that as well, but they didn't have that open for Foo Fighters. They're real like
Sticklers.
Shut off. They do that for some bands are cool about it, and some bands, it's just there's so much demand that it's all the other bands that were at the festival up on those risers. So they're like, yeah, comedians, get out of here.
Yeah.
But I was right there in the front and did about 45 minutes of the concert in that spot, but I had to get out of there because the whole time I'm not even able to watch what's going on stage because all of the crowd surfing, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that's why I
carrying
didn't want to be
people,
down there. I'd
and it
rather
was-
watch it from.
Yeah.
There was like a chick in a wheelchair crowd
What?
surfing. I was like, wow,
That's
And like a
intense.
girl with
And then-
like leg braces or something. I'm like, first, A, God bless, but B, wow.
And there's also some dude was like putting his hands in everybody's pockets trying to pick pockets. So like
Screw
I
that.
had that guy like
Get
I knew who it
knocked out.
was,
Boom.
but he kept trying to do it to other people. I'm like, I'm just gonna get out of here before I get into a fight. There's gonna be some sort of thing that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
And I can't even watch the show because all the bouncers are standing there pulling everybody in. So I'm like watching through the cracks. So I'm also trying to pick people up and not get kicked in the face.
What I love
but it was
about-
still fun.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it for another hour and a half because they
No.
played a long set.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes of that, I was like, yep, I got it. And then I went back and watched the rest of it from
well, the reason I love
a nice
festival sets too
big open area.
are like from up where we were, like all the bands on that main stage had already loaded in their cabinets, right? So the cabinets are open, so I can see all the band set lists. I can see what they're going to play.
Oh, that's cool.
So I know what songs I missed or whatever. Papa Roach opens with Last Resort.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how you know you've been around a long time. First off, that dude who sings, I saw him down below with what I assume was his kid.
Jacoby, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jacoby Shaddix. He's got like the poofy hair.
Yeah. Question.
I'm like, wow,
I got a
these
great
guys-
video because I wasn't there on Saturday night for Papa Roach, but Haley, who I was staying with, got a video of them doing the Firestarter song.
Yeah.
And it's on my Instagram and on my Facebook at the Bill Squire.
Did System of a Down play the hot dog song? Wake up, eat a hot dog if your name is Jacob.
I'm sure they did,
Yes,
right?
they played the hot
Did
dog
you sing
song.
it correctly?
Yeah.
No,
With
I
the
didn't.
right lyrics?
No, because I completely forgot about that.
What?
Sorry.
Ugh.
But they were great.
You ruined Sonic Temple. That's what happened.
Single-handedly, he did.
He did because
Yeah.
he's saying the
But
incorrect lyrics.
It was a lot of fun. The Foo Fighters were great. The Struts, if you don't know the Struts, check out the Struts. That dude can sing.
Who was that
He's a
other
lot of
one you
fun.
said in the
And
in
the
the
Fever
Fever
333.
Yeah.
A lot of good bands. Okay, let me break. I'm going to have Hell Yeah tickets for you. They are doing a celebration of the life of Vinnie Paul. Of course, the great Hell Yeah drummer, Damage Plan, Pantera, who passed away. They're going to do a show at the House of Blues on July 31st. So if you want to see Hell Yeah, those tickets after the break. 35192 if you want to text.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
Hell Yeah is going back out. They're going to bring the celebration of the life of Vinnie Paul on the road. The great Roy Mayorga from Stone Sour behind the drums for this trip. They'll be playing Wednesday, July 31st at the House of Blues. LiveNation.com has got all the details you need. But if you like it loud and heavy and greasy, Hell Yeah is a great place to be. If you want a couple of tickets here, be caller number 13. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
He's been posting pics of his junk online. You know.
Looky.
Just some odds and ends that have been piling up in the basement. It's the Alan Cox Show.
Thought I saw your big white ass lumbering around.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Yeah, speaking of fill-in drummers, I was all excited from our perch at Sonic Temple upside stage because I could see the side of the drums, whoever I was watching, and I was so excited for Lamb of God because Chris Adler is an amazing drummer. What I didn't know is that he's been out of commission for a bit, I guess, doing physical therapy from a motorcycle accident. And so they had the dude from Prong playing the drums. Another one of my favorite bands, so it was a win-win. But I was visibly bummed when I saw this dude walk out, and I go, that's going on here. So then I Google, I'm standing there Googling. I'm like, good grief. That's what I said. Peanut style. Sure. What's the kid's name? Bill Peanut? Who's the kid in Peanuts?
Oh,
Charlie Brown.
Cody Brown. Cody Brown.
Charlie
Good grief,
Brown.
Cody Brown.
No, I couldn't remember his name. It's not Bill Peanuts.
It's not Bill Peanuts.
Billy Peanuts.
That's funny,
so if you listen to the show on iHeartRadio from out of state, let me know where you are. Jamie listens in The Colony, Texas. It's an ostentatious name for a suburb. It's outside Dallas. Wendy is in Key Largo, Florida, and I heard from Quayon and Matt, who listen in San Francisco. Alan, P.S., please tell Pound Cake that we'll meet him in Napa or Sonoma if he comes to visit Sacramento. That's from Quayon and Matt out in the Bay Area.
He gave a thumbs up. He's taking a call right now. So
okay,
he's
cool.
into it.
Gotcha. I don't know if this is a new feature or not, but we were Ubering around Columbus. We left Saturday after that storm started rolling in. We were trying to beat it in our Uber. And there's a thing on there that says, see my journey. And I didn't click on it because I thought it was going to be a video about the driver. Does anyone know if that's what it is? Yeah, because it was before the trip started. So I'm like, well, I can't. I'm like, if I click on this and it's a map of where I'm going, that's real stupid because I already know where I'm going because it's in the app. But it was next to the driver's information. And so I'm like, should I click on see my journey? You know, they're always kind of trying to take they're always trying to take these apps that really have a basic form and function, but they have to somehow keep growing them. So they keep adding things no one needs or has asked for. So it could have been a map, but I didn't click on it because I'm like, if this boots up a video
that guy talking
of what this guy from Nigeria did coming over here, I'm like, I'm cool with just getting to where I need to get.
This is how everything went wrong, and I ended up as an Uber driver. It starts with a record scratch.
Right.
Like, you're probably wondering how I ended up driving Uber.
And then Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood starts.
I took DJing a little too seriously.
Well, the Uber guy that we had from the stadium back to the hotel, because we were going to go back, we're going to go out and have something to eat, get some drinks. The guy, we're sitting there, and again, both of the Uber rides we took were in dead silence, which I love. You know, you'll get a bigger tip from me, you'll get 5 stars. But the guy on the way back to the hotel, I kept elbowing Gwen and pointing to the radio because the guy was listening to Radio Disney.
We're all ears, AM 1260.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's on, and you've got a niece, so that's probably why I'm going to go with that's why you know.
Yeah, sure, we'll leave it at that.
But because it's not as I thought Radio Disney was a lot more kind of kids boppy, but it's just pop music, I guess, that's safe for kids to listen to. So I didn't really notice it until I heard one of the sweepers where they go Radio Disney, and I'm like, this dude's like 40 years old. You know, you could easily find if you're looking for a station that couldn't offend anyone. There's probably other places you can go besides Radio Disney, which led me to believe that this guy really likes Radio Disney, likes the cut of their jib, and that just underscored how happy I was that I did not click on his journey. Because if he had, breadcrumbed me through there, pictures of him with his arm around kids, I don't want that.
Dressed up as a cheetah girl?
Just want to get back to the hotel is all I want. That's right. Okay, so Game of Thrones. I don't watch the show. There seem to be two conflicting thoughts on the end. It's either the worst thing anyone's ever seen or the greatest thing anyone's ever seen.
I haven't heard anyone say the greatest.
Said it's the greatest. I think it's the worst thing anyone's ever seen or whatever, it's over. That's what I feel like.
That really petered out.
I saw articles that said they ended it perfectly.
No.
There was nothing that they didn't sew up. There were no loose ends.
They did tie up loose ends, but it was not in a satisfactory way, and not with the level of storytelling that they had gotten us used to over the years.
You got spoiled.
And then this last 2 seasons, you're just like, well, that was really just abrupt. Like, everything was just so different than
So why didn't they take a couple more episodes to finish it normally? Nobody said you got to do 6, right?
It seems like they're all burnt out. That's why they had 2 huge continuity
errors.
Yeah, with the water bottle. There's
there was a water bottle now
in this episode.
Did you see
and
that,
there was
Alan?
a coffee cup a couple episodes ago.
I don't watch the show, so I don't,
So they just didn't care. They were just like, we're not getting paid anymore. Like, we want to just
I think they were just tapped out, honestly.
But that's
been
so
8 years.
silly. Like, they're probably, Big Bang Theory just went off the air after a decade.
Yes.
They probably...
Big Bang Theory, as great a production as it is, I don't think it has the same level of production that goes into it.
But everything that's filmed is filmed through a tiny frame that the director looks through. So you can make it as big of a spectacle as you want, but at the end of the day, you're looking through that frame. You're getting everything in the frame. Nobody saw a coffee cup, and nobody saw a plastic water bottle.
I get that. And then they also edit it, and then still don't see it. So there's plenty of options and plenty of chances to catch that stuff. And that's why I agree with Mary. They were just burnt out.
I think
like people are just like, they're done.
Well, not even that. I think once the coffee cup hit, they were like, leave the water bottle in.
It's right. I mean, I have it pulled up.
It's a union gig, and we can't afford these guys to be here.
Throw it up on the camera.
It's right next to the dude's shoe.
See, when I saw that photo, I thought that was...
that.
I didn't realize that was a photo from the episode. I thought that was like a photo of these guys waiting till they're seen or something.
No, someone paused it and was like, come on, guys. Like, get it together. You got a water bottle? It's like, no, plastic hasn't been invented yet. It was just, for me, it was very lackluster. Like, I watched it, and the one scene where everyone said was heartbreaking. I'm trying to do this without spoilers. It's like the biggest scene that happened.
I feel like anyone who wanted to watch it watched it last night.
Okay, well, the scene where Daenerys' dragon is like nudging her, it first of all reminded me of The Lion King. I was like, this is like a shot-for-shot remake of Simba nudging Mufasa. That's exactly what's happening here. And then everyone's like, that was heartbreaking. I couldn't stop crying. I'm like, I cry at everything.
And that didn't get you?
I have not cried one time this entire season.
No, but I see all these... there's a petition now to redo the season. I'm like, how do you... First of all, you need a goddamn life. Second of all, how do you know they're going to write a new season...
They're not.
...that you'd like? Like, everybody has a different problem with some dumb show.
That's the problem with this show, is they gave so much time between the last season and
that's
the
what
season
made
before it.
expectations
People
so high.
Got such high expectations, and
that's
then they
on
also
them,
had
not the
so
show.
many different theories,
Yeah.
and a lot of the fan theories were really good ideas. Like they would have been really fun ways to take that show, and they just went really basic at the end.
They should have done
storytelling was so great and very nuanced. At the end, it was just like, here it is, here
racing
it is,
toward the finish line. They should have Bandersnatched it.
Even
That's
the
right.
They should have done a
dialogue.
choose your own adventure. I heard about the dialogue. Towards the end, they just gave up, and they're
Dude,
like,
that whole last
what up,
scene,
my neighbor?
I'm watching it,
No,
and I'm
not
like...
that.
This whole last night's episode, I was watching it, and I'm like, this is some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard. Like, it was bad. I'm very unhappy with it. I mean, I get it. They tied up what they tied up, and I'm kind of glad that it's over after this, because I was defending it the first couple weeks. I was like, chill out. Like, they're building up to something big. They're going to tie it all together. And then last night I was like, I was so wrong. Like, I could not have been more wrong about this season. It's a bummer.
I got $1,000 to give to you once an hour. This is your final week, by the way. So if you haven't won yet, you still have plenty of chances. But last week to do it, to go fund yourself. Good luck.
Hey, it's Rover. Go fund yourself. We have your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword BIKE to to the number 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info, standard data, and message rate supply in this nationwide contest. That's BIKE to 200-200. Good luck and go fund yourself from 100.7 WMMS.
The Game of Thrones finale, by the way, was blocked in China because of trade issues that are going on between the two countries. So people who love Game of Thrones over in China were rioting practically over this show not being on for them.
I believe it.
What does Daenerys say?
When?
When the fire starts, Dracarys? Dracarys, yeah. Just imagine like Trump saying that. Hey, China, you want to watch Game of Thrones? Well, Dracarys.
You wouldn't even say it. That's like the...
I think my dad wore that in the 80s.
Dracarys?
Yeah.
Dracarys Noir. Yeah, Dracarys Noir.
Yeah.
It's like her native tongue to get the dragon to spit fire, to blow fire. It's like the command for fire breathing.
Yeah.
Dracarys.
It's like giddy up for dragons.
Yes.
Yeah. Giddy up, little doggy.
No, well,
I've never flipped out at a finale, but I remember we had just moved to Cleveland when the Lost finale ended.
Oh, that was so disappointing
when it aired. Well, here's the thing though, is that Channel 5 blacked out during the finale. We were still living in Tremont. I remember it like it was, this is 2010. And Gwen didn't watch Lost, right?
I loved Lost.
I had gotten sucked into it with my ex-girlfriend, and we came to Cleveland, and I just kept watching it or whatever. And that finale... in May of 2010, I was so excited. I wanted to see what they were going to do. Good or bad, I didn't care. I just wanted to see what they were going to do.
You were happy with it?
Oh, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it wasn't going to change my life. I mean, after a show has been on for a number of years and there are that many strands, Lost, I think, is similar to Game of Thrones, and what I know about Game of Thrones is that there are so many goddamn characters and storylines. Like
they started killing a bunch of people this season, so there wasn't that many left.
But I mean, right. But just those kinds of shows are never going to wrap the way you think they should. Like, you're just never going to make everybody happy. But again, the transmission problem was when like the screen went black because something happened over at Channel 5 or ABC or whatever it was. I was like screaming in our apartment.
Yeah, it was
boring.
boring.
Would you
But
say,
I'm normally not that way with shows.
What would you say the best wrap up for a series is? Like
The Office.
The way...
The last
like
episode of The Office is
I
so
don't even
good.
like... I would say more of a... Like, The Office is good, but it's not... I feel like with a comedy, it's different than trying to do it with a drama.
For me, it's 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under?
Yep.
That is a great finale.
One of the best finales of any show ever.
Queer as Folk.
I didn't watch that.
I know you didn't, but that was from...
How did it end?
They found out that none of them were folk.
Queer as what then?
As whatever, right?
I'm trying to think of
They said, folk all of you guys, we're out of here.
another drama that I watched all the way through like that. I mean, I watched The Sopranos, but I don't remember it
But people
enough.
freaked out over the way that ended, too.
I don't remember it enough to like have an opinion
I
about
liked
it.
the end of The Sopranos. I was like, that's
Yeah.
fine.
But a lot of people hated
Seinfeld, I was like, I get why people didn't like Seinfeld. But, again, you're never going to make everybody happy.
From
I
what
thought
remember-
Breaking Bad was a great finale. I thought that wrapped it up pretty well.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I
It
stopped
wasn't the
watching
best.
like the third season.
You
of
didn't
it.
finish Breaking Bad?
No,
Girl.
they were so long.
Yeah, they were an hour apiece.
And I started watching at a time when I didn't have a whole lot of free time. So I wasn't watching them like binging. I was watching like one, and then it'd be 2 or 3 days, and I'd watch another one, and I didn't really get.
You should get
I
back
should do
into
it.
it.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
I liked, for people who watch the Hannibal TV show, I liked that a lot.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
A lot of people
one.
didn't watch that, but I loved Hannibal.
I can't remember many finales that were like, oh, this is a huge deal.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I mean, I remember The Sopranos. I remember
I feel
Sex
like
and
I
the
give
City.
up on a
and,
lot of
you
shows.
know.
I would say
before
I
they
remember
finish now.
obsessing over several shows. I watched House every time. I was so into House
because it was always
Couldn't-
on.
Yeah, couldn't tell you how it ended though.
I remember when Gwen and I were first together and living together, and like we were dirt poor, so we didn't have cable or anything, right? But House was always on
Oh,
TV,
yeah.
so we would just
On Channel
watch
8.
House all the time. Channel 26 in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's like we would just watch it all the time. We would just be like, Lupus, it's Lupus.
It's never lupus, Alan.
The way House should have ended is just he gets hit with a whole bunch of malpractice lawsuits because all these theories that he has, like, well, this is how it's actually going, and whatever those little like things that he figures out, just kill people constantly.
Right.
Insurance companies come after him, and The MASH finale. That's for people who are old enough. I mean,
Yeah, I was around for that.
MASH.
It was a show about potatoes.
I know what MASH was. I saw it on TV. I just never watched it because it reeked of old people. So I just
Parks
It
and Rec
reeked
had a
of
good
old
one.
people. Well,
It
it was an older show about an even older war.
That's
So,
what
yeah,
I'm saying.
it was-
It's something that you watch in a retirement home that
I
you
got
just
you.
walk past a room like, oh, he's watching MASH.
MASH was funny. You know,
Okay.
my dad liked it. It was one of those shows like if your dad watched it, you watched MASH with your dad.
Yeah, well, you
I
had
did.
one.
It's always, I didn't have a
Yeah.
dad with this guy. Sounds like things are going pretty well for you. Doesn't sound like you miss your dad too much.
He cool.
See? He cool. You know, and by the way, all these things you could do now. Dad, let's watch MASH. Right?
Nah.
How about if that's your polar blast punishment next year? You have to watch MASH in its
supposed to do stuff
entirety
with his dad?
With
With
your
your
dad.
dad.
You have to do anything with your dad.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's a funny one. He
Five,
just
he
has
has to do 5 things
do
with his
things with
dad.
his
dad.
Go to a movie, go to dinner.
That's
watch-
right. That's right.
Oh my God, no.
I love it.
My dinner with Andre. Your dad's name isn't Andre, is it?
No.
All right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Entourage.
Entourage had a. Ugh.
I didn't make it to the end of Entourage. I bailed after like second to last season. I bailed. I go, I'm out. Once Aquaman hit, I'm out. I'm done.
yeah.
I trudged through it, but it was not a good
Entourage
finale.
was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I do remember watching
And
the
the
last
movie was
season.
so
Well,
bad.
that's what I mean by that was the finale. It was the 2-hour movie. Because the last season was already getting off the rails.
Yeah.
But it was seriously emotionally charged with what was going on with the characters and everything. And Ari
I can't
and,
even remember.
Well, Ari got fired and his wife wanted to divorce him and all that finally. And then he was, what's his name, was all coked out and he ended up in the hospital. That's how they
okay, yeah.
opened the movie. So up until the movie, I was super invested in Entourage. And then I was like, this is not real.
I think
this is
for
how this
me,
is doing it.
one of my favorite finales was Sons of Anarchy because Mary told me what
Yes!
it was before I watched it.
You know what? Sons of Anarchy was a good one. I liked how Sons of Anarchy all closed together and came
Yeah, they
to a
kind
wrap
of
and
did everything they could do.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then they finished it. And yeah, I binged a show on Amazon called Fleabag this weekend. For people
heard
who
that's
watch
a
that
good
show.
show.
It is amazing. And it's second season, but it's the last one they're going to do. And so it's only 6 episodes.
I think that's the way to do it too. Is if you're going to do a show like that, like if you're doing a show like The Office or like a comedy series, you can just keep cranking out episodes season after season. But if you have an arc that you're trying to tell with the character, you got to have an end point and you got to finish that story and tie it up in a good way. Because what you saw with like Game of Thrones or even like Entourage, whatever, they get so far into it and then they go, well, how are we going to finish this? And then they're like, yeah,
Well,
Just kill him. That's what Game of Thrones did. Game of Thrones was like, let's just kill him.
But it's a lot easier when you have one focal character, too.
Right.
I mean, if you've got 50 people.
But like, if
I
you
don't-
know what the end game is, then you should know how to get there in a very creative and fun way.
That's why I love these writers who go, oh, we knew from day one how we wanted it to end. It's like, you didn't, you're a liar.
Right.
The work clearly, when Lost was on and people started to bail because they were like,
Oh,
us more
yeah.
questions and answers, they were like, don't worry, we knew from day one where, and then
they said it's heaven. Everybody's dead.
well, no, but
It's like, get
after the
outta
show, the
here.
writers are like, yeah, we were just making it up. We're like, yeah, I know, nobody's that great of a writer.
That show did get really weird really quick. Like the last
Yes.
couple seasons of that, I was like, what is happening right now?
It was too much, and
Yeah.
even they copped to it later on. They're like, yeah, we kind of got
right, but that's why you have to
took
have
the
that
title
arc
of the show too seriously.
and be able to
Dude, that's
be
how I
able to
felt.
tell that story.
Boardwalk Empire, that was a great finale too. Yep.
I didn't watch that.
Love Boardwalk Empire for people who watch that.
See, there's so many seasons or so many series I bailed on. I liked The Wire up until like the 4th season, and then I just stopped watching it.
That was one that I just kind of plowed through to get to the end.
Yeah.
But I liked it. But the earlier seasons were better. than
Walking Dead, I quit watching.
Shield was
The
great.
Shield had one of the best. And do you ever watch The Shield? Oh my God, that was one of my favorite series of
Is
all
that fat
time.
white guy on it?
He's not fat. He's thick.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
Michael Chiklis, the commish.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Is that who that is?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, him.
Vic Mackey.
Was Vic Kamish there?
Yeah.
Is that where
He was there. He was
Whoa.
great. And then Walton Goggins, like that show had a great cast.
Yeah.
Great storytelling, and it ended, and it all kind of tied back to like the first thing that they showed on
Yeah.
the show. And it
That's
was
what I was
awesome.
trying
Came full
to figure
circle.
out
So
last
good,
night.
yeah.
So last night when they were sitting at the table and they're doing the whole whatever their group meeting is called, and I was like, is this a callback? Like, did this happen in an earlier season that I'm not remembering, or is this just a really weird time to have a meeting like this?
Well, that's like what the Hand would do.
I know that, but
But
I was
they had
trying to
those
see
meetings.
The
if
hand?
the hand of the king or queen, like their right hand man. That's their. Instead of a vice president, they have a hand.
They got a guy named The Hand.
He's the hand of the queen or the hand of the king. He's the right-hand man, yeah.
I'd love to be the hand of the queen.
Okay.
Hello, I'm the Hand, everyone. Bow before the Hand. All right, yeah, well, listen, it's over. Whatever.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
It's whatever.
A buddy of mine was tweeting at me because I was like, this whole season he's been upset. And I was like, relax, like you're overreacting, like it's going to be good, it's going to be good. And then I tweeted out last night that it was lackluster. And he just sent a screenshot of me telling him to calm down and he was being too sassy. I was like, all right, you're right, you win this one. That's all there is to it.
Let me change my opinion. Game of Thrones is one of the greatest finales ever. Because Mary got to work lackluster into the description of it.
Yes.
Great word. Lackluster.
For people that didn't watch Game of Thrones, it's one of the best finales ever because they get to see all the people that invested all this time in this show go, I didn't like it.
Right, that's really what it is.
I didn't like it. I love this show. It's the best show ever. And then it ends with, oh, I hated it.
Right. Granted, I had absolutely nothing to do with the creation or making of it, but I hated it.
Yeah.
Good job,
for years,
creators.
I've been telling you, watch Game of Thrones, and now I can't tell you to do that. Like, I can't be like the way it ends, it's not worth watching anymore.
Yeah, well.
Right.
All right. I'm going to have passes for you later on if you want to golf in the metro parks. It's a fine, fine place to do it. You'll get a round of golf at one of the Cleveland Metro Park courses. There are 8 of them. ClevelandMetroParks.com. You want the info, so that's coming up. 35192 if you want to text. Or AlanCoxShow.com.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Tony. He goes, Alan, I want to let you know my first daughter was born Saturday. Coincidentally, also named Nora. That's what Gwen and I named our daughter. And when I went to sing to her, the only song I could think of was Werewolves of London.
Babies love it.
Yeah. This is the good line in this song here.
Little old lady got mutilated late last night.
Little old lady got mutilated late last night. That's what any child wants to hear that. By the way, I think the fact that I insisted that this song be in my first wedding video is probably contributed ultimately to the fact that my first wife and I divorced. So, having that line, little old lady got mutilated late last night in a wedding video, probably, I don't know if that's the way to go, but what are you going to do? Rip Warren Zevon, of course, one of the greats. Congratulations, Tony.
Where's his biopic?
They just put out another book. I read, there was a book about 10 years ago called My Dirty Life and Times that his ex-wife wrote, and it was all these anecdotes from his life. And somebody just put another Warren Zevon book out that I'd like to read.
What do they call it if they make a Warren Zevon biopic? Is it Excitable Boy? Is it just Zevon?
Excitable Boy, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Because that's Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man. So you got to go.
I feel like he's not mainstream enough for them to do one of those though on him.
I know, but I still want it.
Oh, I would love it. Yeah, I don't know who would play him or any of that. They could, Excitable Boy probably.
Robert Pattinson.
There you go.
Guy, right? He can do anything. It's gonna be Batman.
He's a werewolf, or no? He's not a zombie.
He's a
werewolf.
vampire.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Batman he's our emo superhero. Batman's the most vampire-y of all superheroes.
That is very true.
And we were talking about this when Chris I was here on Friday. Like, for Batman...
How dare you?
That was when the news broke, was that Pattinson was going to be the new Batman. And I'm like, Michael Keaton said, the mask does all the work.
Yeah.
All you're going to see is, what do you need from a guy to play Batman?
Right.
I can't believe they audition people. They just...
Oh, that's why you just get a star.
Just pick a guy.
You go
just pick a guy. Just choose him.
Are you a guy? People know who you are? It's you.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fine. People like to freak out over these castings. And they freaked out the most over Heath Ledger, and he ended up being the best in one of these movies ever.
Play the Joker.
Yeah, played the Joker. And that I was actually talking about A Knight's Tale, but...
Oh, not 10 Things I Hate About You?
That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, when they first cast Michael Keaton in the original Batman, everybody
freaked
flipped
out over
their lid because he was a comic actor.
He was great.
And then Val Kilmer, who... See, Val Kilmer was a situation where they were like, we need a guy. Val Kilmer didn't do anything as Batman. He just kind of stood there. Made winky eyes at Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything.
And same with George Clooney.
Clooney, too.
Yeah.
The suit does all the work.
Like Christian Bale, and again, it comes down to a lot of the writing. And, I mean, it's not brooding is what Batman does. So it's not like he has to have charisma the way that Robert Downey Jr. did as Iron Man. Like that, he made that role his own. Whereas with Batman, it's just a lot of, boy, I really hate these guys. They kill my parents.
Listen, I said from the jump that I liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
I did too.
They made him a little bit of an older Bruce Wayne, kind of. There was some gray at the temples. I liked that. I thought he was good. It's just that the movies were so bad.
Yeah.
And so I was, I'm bummed that he's not going to do that Batman standalone movie. But whatever. Robert Pattinson, cool. Like I said, we were talking about him on Friday. He's done a bunch of small movies that I don't know if people have seen them, but they're great. And I didn't see any of his Twilight work. So I've only seen him in these other movies that he very clearly has done to move as far away from Twilight, as far as the public perception of him goes. He's in a new movie called The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe that's supposed to be pretty freaky.
I haven't seen any of his other movies. I've watched all the Twilights, though.
Yeah, I think he's a butt actor. I don't think he's good.
You haven't seen these movies. He's real good.
Yeah, you gotta see the
a movie
other
called
movies.
High Life, a movie called Good Time.
And he only had what he could work with in those Twilight movies. Like, nobody looks good. You could put Idris Elba in those movies and you'd be like, this guy's terrible.
Oh yeah, he's in that new movie, The Rock.
Yeah,
Idris Elba's going to look horrible in this movie.
Hobbs and
Shaw, Hobbly and Bobbly. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Hobbly and I'm Bobbly.
Yeah,
Hobbly and Bobbly will be the next one.
Sure.
That's going to be fun, though.
Also, congratulations to what I assume is being called ScarJost. Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost are engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, good.
Man, that's a hot couple.
That
is a hot couple.
That is a hot couple.
But how would you like to be your younger girlfriend's third husband?
So what? She's hot. She's
She's
hotter than
had
him.
3 husbands?
Yeah.
Or 2?
He will be her third husband.
If
She
it's
married-
Scarlett Johansson, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with
I know.
I'm like,
Scarlett.
I'll be the third
She's
ex-husband.
got a kid, third ex-husband. That's what I'm saying. She married Ryan Reynolds, no kids. Married some French dude. I don't know who he is.
She was engaged to Justin Timberlake for a bit.
Why don't I know any of this?
Because you got a life to lead. I mean,
guess.
yeah.
I didn't know she was married to Ryan Reynolds,
I didn't
though.
know that either.
That's pretty cool.
She and Colin Jost have been dating for a couple of years. And now, of course, all the headlines are Scarlett Johansson engaged to a comedian. Mm-hmm. Which, if you knew it was Colin Jost, you'd go, you're taking your liberties with the term comedian.
He certainly
He's
is.
going to be at the MGM soon. Trying to get him on the show.
No, I like Colin Jost. I don't think of him as a comedian, though. I think of him a guy who does the news and is whatever.
He's the hottest guy on SNL. You just call him that because there's
It's not a high bar.
That's what I'm
Right?
saying. He's the hottest guy on SNL.
Take that, Beck Bennett.
It's pretty easy to be the hottest comic.
Yeah.
Beck Bennett's not a bad-looking guy.
No.
I think he's an okay-looking guy.
He thought he was in the running, but he's too short.
So, so Scarlett Johansson, Colin Jost. Congratulations. They're going to make it official.
You don't think of him as a comedian? He's the head writer for Saturday Night Live.
Doesn't mean you're...
And he does stand-up.
Yeah. But did he start as a stand-up?
I think so. I mean,
I thought he
he's
was
a writer.
No,
and I think
know.
he does stand.
But I thought he was one of these guys who got some recognition on the show, and then when you get some name recognition, you go, "Well,
Then
I'll
he
just
can
go do
start
stand-up."
selling out.
Like John
No.
Lovitz,
No, I don't think he. I think he was in the clubs
Was he?
doing it.
Okay.
And then but because he went to Harvard, so he got that job because of.
But that's what I mean.
Those credentials.
There's a lot of comedy writers who aren't stand-ups, is my point. Yeah. I thought he was a guy who started to get known from SNL and then was like, well, I'll just do some club dates.
I honestly don't know. Maybe Steve Burns friends with him, so hopefully when he's in town,
I'll ask Burn.
We'll try and get him to call into the show, and you can ask him to his face.
Hey, man.
Or over the phone.
Hey, man. Tell me the truth, all right? What's
like a
Scarlett
comic?
Johansson like?
She nice?
What's her butt taste
She
like?
Wow.
Bill, you know what her
What is
butt tastes
wrong
like, all
with
right?
you?
Heaven.
You know already.
You're so gross.
Like cotton candy and lavender.
Yeah, like this Monster Rain that I'm drinking.
Cotton
Cotton
candy.
candy.
Ugh.
Nice clean butthole.
That's right. That's her backstage at Avengers Endgame.
The one thing that I could not do with Scarlett Johansson, though, is have you ever heard the album of covers she put out?
Yes.
Who was it? The gravelly voice dude.
Tom Waits.
Yeah, it was Tom Waits. Yeah, she
Yeah.
did like an album of Tom Waits covers that were. It's so cringy. It's so cringy.
So she's not good.
Right?
Yeah.
She did this movie called Under the Skin a few years ago. You ever see Under the Skin?
No.
Where she's the alien? Very little dialogue in this movie. She's an alien who has to have sex with guys and then absorb their. It's super.
Wait a minute.
Is it like Species?
I was
Hashtag
just
I can
gonna
relate.
say, is this the one where she eats the banana with the peel on? But that's Species.
It's super stylized. I think it was like a Dutch director or something, so
Yeah.
they shot it in Scotland.
That
Watch
was
it
the
if you ever
plot
get the
of
chance.
Species, wasn't it?
Pretty much. She had to spread her seed by having sex with men.
I was like, was
Great
Scarlett
movie.
Johansson in
I
Species?
love Species.
Species was like an action movie, though.
Species.
Kind of. Yeah.
Species.
Either way.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Species?
I got corrected on a
Wait,
word.
Species or species?
I was saying species.
Species.
Species?
Species.
I did one of these yesterday. I was on an edible at the Indians game, and I said minuscule instead of minuscule.
Yeah.
And that took a long time for us to figure out. We were standing there as me and a couple other comics, and I was just saying the word
Minuscule. What? I can't even say it the wrong way.
Say it the right way.
Minuscule.
Minuscule. And I said,
what?
No, you're putting the accent on the second syllable. The accent's on the first syllable. You're saying minuscule, like aluminium.
Instead of minuscule.
Minuscule.
Minuscule. Okay.
Yeah.
They called me out on it immediately, and I was like, I'm 29, and no one's ever said anything to me about this.
Yeah, but you're all high, too.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time,
but
no,
you get
but
a little
I've
bit
always
of,
pronounced it that way.
No, you get a little
That's
bit
why I
of
didn't
leeway.
know that.
I took an edible over the weekend for Sonic Temple.
How did you do?
Nothing happened.
Get them from me.
Nothing.
Don't get them from other people.
Well, they're all making the same crap. I mean,
if you're getting it from like a store.
Get them from you.
Mine are the best.
Mary's got the real good ones. It makes you mispronounce words.
No, I've done that my whole life.
Yeah.
It just made it more evident when they
no,
were
I was really
explaining it
bummed.
to me.
Nothing happened. Or I told Gwen later
You might
on.
not have taken enough, too.
I know it might. But I was like, I said maybe something happened, but I didn't feel it. It may have literally done something to my body,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel it.
Were you drunk too?
No.
And it depends on, A, how much you take, what you ate that day, because you're digesting it. So if you had a decent-sized meal an hour before, it's not going to do. It's like drinking a beer after you eat a big meal.
I was
it's not
pretty
gonna
much
do
on an
anything.
empty stomach.
I'd like to talk with you more about that.
On the subject
can
of,
fix it.
I got a letter from David on the subject of words. Alan Poundcake seems to use the word notoriety anytime he talks about how famous someone is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think notoriety means being famous for something bad.
No.
No, it does. It is.
How?
I thought that
comes
was
from,
notorious.
yes, notoriety comes from notorious.
I thought it was notable.
Yeah, I'm with Poundcake on
Notoriety means being famous for something bad. Like when they go,
I thought that was infamy.
A notorious serial killer.
Boom, infamy.
It's the same thing.
Infamy.
Okay, well, I thought-
Notoriety doesn't just mean fame, though.
So if I go to a notary, that's a bad person?
Well, now you're just throwing words that sound alike together.
all right,
A notary is not notoriety.
Okay, well, I was
Do
confused.
you know that notary is not notoriety?
I was thinking more notable, like someone who is an official person, like someone. I didn't think it was meant for anything bad.
I'm going to defend Poundcake on this one
I
because
didn't know
I didn't know
either.
either. I mean,
No, that's fine.
I'm
just
looking
saying
it up, but
that's
yeah,
what it means.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so the
The state of being famous or well known for some bad qualities
yeah,
or deeds.
well, when they
So-
refer to someone as notorious, it's never good.
It is if
Unless
you're
it's that-
B.I.G.
Or Duran Duran.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
See who the cool guy is.
You know, to clear it all up, just say famous.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. I guess I've never thought about that. People are, anytime you say, oh, this person is notorious for, it's always like, when you're talking about comedy, this person is notorious for running the
It's
light.
never a
Or,
compliment.
no, it's
Right.
never good. Yeah.
But no, but people will say
Notoriety.
if you want to sell out a show, you got to have some notoriety or something. You never heard that phrase before? Or
Yes, but get in trouble for something bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought of it.
Notability. Is that a word?
That is also
Gotta have some
notability.
fame.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
that. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're notable. What's your notability?
I was just reading the letter that he sent me, and that's what. See, if you wanted bad boys of music, Bill, Duran Duran. I mean, that's where you'd want to go, right? Girls liked them. Guys who had access to eyeliner were in good shape with Duran Duran. I was always a big closet Duran Duran fan. As a metalhead in good standing, huge Duran Duran fan.
Mary, do you have any notoriety so that we can sell some tickets for our show in Berea on Sunday?
No, but notability is the fact or quality of being notable.
Well, yeah.
Thanks for going with my
real
plug,
word
dum-dum.
is,
Oh, my notoriety is probably for
Whitney.
Whitney. Probably Whitney.
But that's not bad attention.
Oh, good. Bad attention? Not anymore.
Okay. That's what he was asking.
I used to pass out on bathrooms and stuff, but
even that's, like, have you ever killed a man?
I have not. I have no murderous notoriety.
How do you expect
Can't even get a second date.
How do you expect to sell tickets if you never killed anyone?
It's very true.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to see us on Sunday, we'll be at Fat Guys, Mary and I. You can go to BillSquire.com to get those tickets.
Sorry, I don't have any notoriety.
It's okay. You're
It's
notable.
overrated.
You're notable.
Thanks.
You're the the best girl comic?
I was the best overall comic this year.
Best
Thank you.
girl. Did they call it
at a
best
pretend
girl?
award
At
show.
the Cleveland Comedy Awards, yes, according
It
to
was a
Scene
real award
it
show.
was. I went. There were people
It
there.
happened, yeah.
To Scene Magazine, I am the best female
It
comic.
happened.
Yes, from Scene Magazine, the best vaginal comedian.
Best vaginal comedian. Now,
that should be the category.
Yeah.
Best vaginal
She has
comedian.
some vaginal notoriety.
Hey, I'm
If you want to get too deep into it.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right. I didn't know what that squeak was that you did there, but okay.
It was a hey. Knock it off. That's what that was. When other people do it, it weirds me out, but I can touch my own.
Good to know. All right.
Just thick enough to be uncomfortable to drink.
Anywho, I've got a break. I will have golf for you at the Cleveland Metro Parks. They have 8 golf courses. You pick a round at one of those. And then pull your putts and have a good time. So I will have those passes for you after the break. 35192 if you want to text.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio.
Little Met, Sleepy Hollow, Mastic Woods, where we do the Alan Cox Show foot golf tournament. Manakiki is Ohio's #1 public golf course. You book your tee time at whichever course you want to play. ClevelandMetroParks.com/golf, okay? I got a round of golf for you here for caller number 12. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Catch me outside. How about that?
That cash me outside girl probably makes more money than you.
I don't need your little petty ass money. Here you go.
And now more crap you don't want to hear.
Y'all don't know shit.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
$35192. Want to send me a text. AlanCoxShow.com for everything else. Live stream is there. You can watch that. The chat room is part of that. And you can listen anywhere in North America on the iHeartRadio app. If you do that from out of state, let me know where that happens. Ashley listens in Minot, North Dakota. Margot is in Peterstown, West Virginia. Brian's in Hoboken. Becky is in Austin, Texas. And Brian is in Collierville, Tennessee. 20 years ago yesterday, William.
Yeah.
The Phantom Menace premiered in the theaters.
Oh, boy. I remember I took my final exam. I think it was my junior year.
Of high school.
And then me and my buddy went and saw it. And I fell asleep.
In the movie.
Yep. I was like, that was not good.
I remember hosting a screening of The Phantom Menace was the very first appearance I had after getting to Pittsburgh. One of the guys that was with me was like, because it was part costume contest, which probably goes without saying. And there were some guys up there dressed up like Liam Neeson. There were some girls up there dressed like Princess Leia in the brass bikini. And one of the guys that was with me was like, he got booed because he goes, now for some of you guys here, this is what a girl looks like. They were like, boo!
Well, that was when Star Wars was still more nerd culture than just like pop culture.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I just remember watching that movie going, all right, well, that, because it was Jar Jar Binks in that movie.
Yeah. You're just like, well, at least the soundtrack's good. John Williams always brings it.
Sure, yeah. Boy, that score.
Yeah.
That is an amazing score.
It is an amazing score.
It is.
That score is amazing. And then, what's his face? Darth Maul was fun.
Ray Park,
yeah.
Speaking of scoring, our own little Mary Lynn Santora had a date over the weekend.
Ew. Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine?
We went and had coffee.
It was fine.
You get that butt?
No, I haven't. I've had sex one time since February, and we already talked about that.
If you call that sex.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've had 3 minutes of intercourse since
I was
February.
like, you had intercourse. It wasn't sex.
No. We had coffee, and we talked for a little while, and I don't know if I was talking to you about it.
We did talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I was saying how, like,
but I couldn't hear you.
This is a different guy?
This is a new guy.
Same guy.
New guy.
New guy.
This is the first time we met, okay? So we go
Are
out
you
for
done with the
coffee
Minute
on
Man?
Saturday. He's been out of town for 2 weeks, so we hung out and put together.
Has he been? Or is
said
he just avoiding you?
He could be doing either or, but I'm pretty sure he's out of town. But so this is a new guy, and we went out and had coffee, and it was fine. He talked a lot, and I was kind of just keeping the conversation going. And then
Why do guys do that?
I told Bill, I said,
why do they talk so... Guys,
it was mostly about work, too.
We're not that interested.
Oh, man.
Like, just let them talk. The less you talk, the better time she'll have. I guarantee you that. I guarantee.
Fine.
What does he do for a living?
He's in a trade.
He's in a trade.
I don't want to be too.
Is he a welder?
I don't know if he listens or
Is he a
not.
drywall?
He's a pipe fitter.
Is he a union?
Yeah. See, that's why I didn't. You guys.
We got to know these things.
We just want to know.
He's a pipe fitter.
He's got a trade. That's a good prospect there.
Yeah. So we were talking. He has a house and he's talking about all this stuff, and we were going back and forth. And it was like I felt like every time I started to talk, I could just watch the interest drain from his face. Like
he was just waiting for his next turn to talk.
I think so.
Did he say, "Let me tell you about Local 396"? Did he get like way into the whole thing?
Well, yeah. He went. There's this whole subculture, and they have like softball leagues and stuff, and it was crazy.
And you maintained interest?
I kept the conversation going. I'm a very nice person.
Yeah, see, but you got to not do that.
It must be good coffee.
Don't just be nice to be nice.
What am I supposed to do? Be rude?
No,
I would just
I
sit
don't
my
want to
coffee
hear about
out.
this.
But
I
I'd be
mean,
like, okay. Like, I would just be like, I don't know.
it was interesting.
Just slurp.
Was it?
I didn't realize that was a whole thing. Like, it was a big deal.
Okay.
And it's a big deal all over the country. Obviously, I didn't realize,
pipe fitting?
He's got a
all
pipe
the
fitting
trades.
podcast.
And they, like, compete against each other. It's crazy.
It's called pod fitting.
So anyway, the date went fine. We hung out for like 2 hours. We didn't leave with a kiss. We didn't kiss goodbye, and we didn't make plans to have a second date. So I figured, okay, this is probably the last time I'm going to
Was
see
there
this
any
guy.
pipe fitting double entendre that would
There
come
were
in?
not.
Okay.
Actually.
You got to probably have more of a vibe and a rapport for
Yeah.
that.
So what were you saying that he found so boring?
Well, he was asking me, he's like, oh, so, ask me about stand-up or radio or whatever, and I would start to, like, get into it and start talking about it, and I think maybe he just couldn't relate, or, like, he was only asking questions because he felt like he had to, maybe, or he wasn't really interested in what it was like. I don't know.
Was he cute at least?
He's really cute, yeah. Or that, but there was, like,
Why didn't you
no
ask that?
chemistry.
Yeah.
There was no, like, flirtiness.
Then it's not.
So,
yeah.
whatever. So we have our date was fine, and then we didn't really talk that night. I texted him yesterday during the day, and we were going back and forth about Game of Thrones. And then at the same time I was texting him, I was texting my sisters.
Of course.
And then...
You didn't screw up the text, did you?
I did. I screwed up the text.
You're the worst.
In the worst way.
Yeah.
It's
now we're
such-
talking.
The things that I sent to this guy. So I'm talking to my sisters about kind of not a deeper, but sister talk. We can be very open and very vulnerable with each other.
Uh-huh.
And then I cross the text messages. So he and I are talking about Game of Thrones. And then 3 texts in a row, out of nowhere, I send to the guy who I met for 2 hours. I said, oh my God, I don't even want to say that.
Yes. Can I read it?
I said, sadness triggers my addictive personality, so I either text a bunch of guys looking for validation or go gambling. I've been buying a lot of scratch-offs lately, and I think I need to settle down.
You're the dumbest of dumb bitches.
I can feel how red my face is right now because I sent it, and then
I can see it.
And then I couldn't figure out why my sisters weren't texting me back, and then I looked at it and I was
You
like,
didn't see the names at the top
I
of the
wasn't
text?
paying any attention. I was
you
just
didn't
going.
see the previous conversation with him?
I
that's
wasn't paying any attention to it.
Yeah,
I
this is why it's
literally
good to
just
look at
sent
people.
it.
The only time people aren't looking at their phones, apparently, is when they're texting someone. Every other time,
Dude.
they're looking at their phones.
So this
It's
guy
an honest mistake, but it's very funny.
That's very, that's way more information than someone I've known for 2 hours ever needs
But
to know.
walk me through this. Just the mechanics of it. How did you text the wrong person?
I pulled up my phone and
Yep.
thought I was still in the like I was in a different app on my phone, like on Instagram or something.
Yep.
And then when I went back to the messages, I thought I was still in my messages with my sisters, not my messages with him.
So you didn't really pay that close attention to the prior
No,
conversation.
I just went back to the. I was in
Gotcha.
like
You're just
I
flipping
was in
around,
a
yeah.
different app,
Yeah.
and then I went back to messaging, and then like continued the conversation. So I told this guy. I mean, what more red flag words do you need?
What was his response?
Well, I said that. So I said, just to reiterate, these are what I said to him. Sadness triggers my addictive personality. That's a text message he gets after 42 minutes of us not texting. That's just a text that he gets out of the blue.
Oh, by the way, you could have played it
Now
off by
think
saying
about
that you
that.
have a coffee addiction.
Well, I was going with my sisters, so I was and I was explaining to what I thought were my sisters. So I either text a bunch of guys looking for validation.
And he's like, okay.
Or I gamble, and these are coming in rapid fire because I think I'm texting my sister. So
Yeah.
he and I don't talk for 45 minutes, and then it's boom, boom, boom. I have an addictive personality. I look for validation from men. Sometimes I spend too much money on scratch-off lottery tickets.
I like when you spend too much money on scratchy lotteries.
Right, and then I
He
realized
thinks you're Mama June.
I realized what I had done.
Oh my gosh, you didn't try to.
I was like, that was all supposed to go to my sisters. I was like,
Sure, it was.
I was like, you know way more about me than you ever should. I am so embarrassed right now. And then it was another 25.
That's also kind of a humorous moment, too.
Right. It was another 25 minutes before he texted me back.
And then what'd he say?
So I was sitting there just like, this is it. This is it. He's gonna. This.
You know, people always say it's easier to write something to someone than to say it to their face.
Well, it was the first date, so what if he didn't text you back? It was
Well,
like-
and that was
Well,
the
why
other
waste your
thing,
time?
that-
It's embarrassing, but why waste your time? Get it out there, and you know, you didn't mean to, but you did.
But I was like,
And just so ladies out there know, if we're talking first dates with Bill Squire, I'm going to find out that sadness stuff right away.
Right, yeah. So
You're not sending that to me on accident. We're talking about that face to face.
That's
tell me all your biggest insecurities.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tell me, what triggers your addictive personality?
That's just such a recovery sentence that I'm like, I feel like this guy's like, what did I get into?
Uh-huh.
What would you do if a girl that you had met that day sent you text messages like that out of the blue
You'd say-
after you had not had a conversation and you're just
Say,
reading it like,
I
what the
assume this
hell?
wasn't for me.
Well, so anyway,
You want to put them at ease.
I told him that wasn't supposed to go to you. I'm very sorry. I'm very embarrassed.
Say I'm working on a book and I like to speak through my character.
I would say
Drunky McAddicted face.
Yeah, I'd say.
Right.
How many guys did you send this to?
Right. Well, that was the other thing. That,
I would have made it a joke.
That was
Like-
the part that made me be like, I cannot believe I just said that sentence to him. I text a bunch is just an indiscriminate amount of such a low self-esteem. I text a bunch of guys just looking for. So then after 25 minutes of me freaking out, he texted me back and he goes, "Aw, do you need my validation?" Which I thought was very funny and a sweet way to do it. But then we ended up, he's like, I'm going to be honest. I was like, what in the world is she talking about right now? Like, what is going on? But he was sweet about it. And I was like, well, I was just accidentally more vulnerable with you than I've been with any man in the last 2 years. So congratulations for that. But
Second date?
We haven't talked about it. A second date has not come up yet.
You've condensed a lot of boring conversation into a couple of texts.
Yeah.
Right?
He learned so much in 3 text
Yeah,
messages.
I mean, he was
I honestly like
glazing.
that.
He was glazing over when you're talking about showbiz. Think about when you're telling about your journey.
Yeah.
You just condensed it. That's good.
And that's nice that he had a nice reply.
And he put
sweet
like
about
a,
it.
yeah.
But also, it's one of those things where it could have maybe worked out in. He's like, oh, I get that, and then he could have become vulnerable with you.
Well, that's
he didn't because
when
he's
he
too busy fitting pipes. But
when he was like, "Do you need my validation?" I was like, "That would be great right now. Like, if you could give validation at any time, I would like to take that immediately."
That's
I
funny.
was so embarrassed, and I sent my sisters the screenshot, and I was like, "I thought we were still texting and couldn't figure out why you guys weren't responding."
What did the sisters say?
Oh, my
They were
little sister
roasting
didn't
you.
respond, but my older sister, all she said was, "That is perfect." That's all she said. I was like, no.
Wow.
But when we talked about Game of Thrones, and then we haven't texted, so I don't know. I'm going to assume
probably.
the date was, like I said, the date was fine to begin with. But I was like, oh, I'm
Fine
probably
is not a good sign for
I
a
was like,
date.
I'm probably not going to see him again. And then I was like, I'm for sure never going to hear from this guy again. But
He might surprise you.
that was my fun over the weekend dating experience.
Well, if you can't handle me at my worst,
Right.
you don't. He should have written back weird flex, but okay.
if you can't handle me at my texting a bunch of guys, you don't deserve me at my getting a whole bunch of scratch offs.
It's just one of those things where it's like, that's something I'm comfortable saying to my sisters. To you, I would say something like that to you. I mean, there's like a select few people that I would be that open and honest with.
And then everybody listening on the radio
Well, that's
at this
fine.
point now.
This is like fake. It's like it's
actually quite real.
I know. I don't know those people personally, so
Yeah.
like it's like whatever. You guys can know this about me.
All right, but do we also have to talk about your addiction to the gambling? Is that going to be a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
Okay.
But it's like when I get
You're buying a
Just
lot of
what a gambler would say.
no, because
Hold that thought, because I got to give away some money to some
interesting.
people who do have gambling addictions. All right, good luck.
Hey, it's Rover. Go fund yourself. We have your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword SQUARE to the number 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's SQUARE to 200-200. Good luck and go fund yourself from 100.7 WMMS.
Alan, I accidentally sent a text to a family member about how I wanted it, and that was supposed to go to a guy. I think that's less embarrassing than probably getting it to the recent stranger.
A recent stranger, and that's some like real life stuff that I'm like. So since I stopped drinking, I've been trying to realize triggers, and when I get sad is when I start to act out. And that's what it is.
And you get sad a lot.
I do get sad, not like sad a lot, but like I had a bad set last night. So my set didn't go very well, so I was kind of in a bummed out mood. So that's when I'm looking for validation in some way. When I would normally go have a couple drinks to feel better. Well, I don't have that anymore. So I'm trying to learn my triggers. Sadness or being bummed is definitely one of them. And so I'll text some guys and be like, hey, what's up? Or like this, or like get flirty, like to get the attention, which is not an okay thing.
I've
and
got
I know
the perfect
that.
validation for you. I'm going to send you this as a ringtone.
Would you like to sniff my testicles?
Then anytime you have a bad set or you feel bad about yourself,
Would you like to sniff my testicles?
you can play Bill asking if you'd like to sniff his
would not.
testicles.
You don't want him to play that, or you don't want to sniff my testicles? Sniff my
I
testicles?
don't like any of it. I don't want to do
So
it.
you're not going to sniff my testicles?
I'm not going to sniff your testicles. No.
Sniff. That's the best part. Sniff. Would you like to sniff them? Yeah.
No, I'm good.
okay, so you're
Very
you're
trepidatious.
saying-
I'll get in. A little sniff.
You're saying with the gambling thing being a problem, it's just something that's been I've noticed that I'm doing more instead of drinking.
Right.
Like recently, that I'll be like, oh, yeah, I've got 20 extra bucks. I'll buy some scratch-offs, or I'll go to the casino, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. So I'm just trying to realize those things and stop them before they start. Like, oh, when I'm sad, these are the bad behaviors that I have. I need to not do them.
Do you have to replace them with good behaviors, or do you just have to
I do.
recognize
I
that?
do.
I think Mary needs to learn to crochet
I'm
or
not
knit.
crocheting. No.
How do you feel about decoupage?
I don't know what that is. Is
Look
that
it
when
up.
you coupon?
No. No, that's called couponing.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. All right, well, what about...
What is
about
decoupage? That's
you little glue little paper cutouts onto something, and
Okay.
like what do they call it?
You're thinking paper
like a
mache?
diorama?
Not diorama. No. It's like gold leaf onto things.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Not Mod Podge. Maybe it's close to that. I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it's right now because I still haven't even been sober 3 months. It's been 77 days, so I feel like I'm still learning. Okay, these are things that used to trigger drinking, and now they're triggering other bad behaviors or addictive behaviors in me. So I'm still trying to figure that out, and then replace it with healthy things, which is an open conversation to have, and it's a very vulnerable conversation, and not something that a man that I've been on one date with, I feel like, needed to know.
Here's a question I have about people. I know you have the addictive personality.
Yeah.
But if it's something like you feel like you can manage the gambling aspect, or is it going to manifest in that too?
If I were to let it get to that point, yes.
Yeah.
Like I would go to the casino, say I took $100 to the casino, I would have to leave my debit card at home because I would go back to the ATM, kind of a thing.
Man.
Yeah. Well, and that's it's not just one thing. You'll
Right.
find this with a lot of people who have addiction to whatever. It's never just one thing. It's like, oh, I liked drinking, and then I quit drinking, and I gambled, and I quit gambling, and then I started this, or it's like sex. I mean, it's
Well, you gotta-
all...
you
replace it with something.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to replace it with something. And I'm trying to address and replace in a healthy manner.
You know what you should
Tell them you're replacing it with coffee.
Or
Would you like to have
sniffing my
another coffee
testicles.
for sniffing Bill's testicles?
I don't want that as an addiction.
You don't want that? Are you sure you don't want that?
I'm good. I'm very good.
I'm happy to offer this to you.
And that's, just the
Would
sound
you like
bit.
to sniff my testicles?
You're going to give me the sound bit, not the actual act of sniffing his testicles?
Well, I would certainly hope that one led to the next.
Well, that's an inconvenience for him, you know?
Is it really?
Every time I'm
He's
triggered...
the one offering it.
Every time I'm triggered, I'm
Would
like,
you
hey,
like to
man,
sniff my testicles?
I really could use you right
I'll
now.
just give
I have a
you
feeling
a
he'd
pair
make
of
himself
underwear to
Oh,
smell each
there
day.
you go. Dirty
Yeah.
underwear.
And then-
Because clean ones won't have the scent.
Yeah.
Right?
But
I
you get a
wear
bit.
it,
But you
yeah.
get a bit more than testicles under those circumstances. At least this you should.
Yeah, sure.
Gross.
Especially, man, though.
I was gonna say.
Oh, the Sonic Temple underwear.
Yeah.
That's a lot of-
Testicles will not be the dominant scent in the underwear scenario. Yeah, there's some serious swass. Getting back to the hotel room after Sonic Temple.
So, yeah, that's my...
Well, congrats.
That's one of the best showers you can take, though.
After Sonic Temple?
After like a festival or like after
Oh, yeah.
camping.
After
where-
the beach, I really like a shower after the beach. You're like sweaty and you have sand and it's like tanning lotion. I like that a lot.
That Slipknot dude, I don't know which one he is because there's 50 guys in that band. Guy from Slipknot, his daughter died. She's 22. She just a couple days ago posted a picture of her 5-month chip.
Oh, boy.
So I assume her death had something to do with that. She's 22 years old.
That's sad.
Dang.
So, you have a 3-month chip?
No, I haven't gotten any chips.
Oh, you're not going to the meetings?
I haven't
or-
been going to many of them. I'll pop in every now and then, but I don't...
You've replaced them with coffee dates.
Yeah, right. I don't think that they're for me. I don't think the 12-step program is for me.
Okay.
I pop in and you will listen, and I hear, usually I'll take away one or two things, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I came to this.
Yeah.
But it's a whole...
You're not going to work the program.
I'm not going to work the program. It's not for me.
I understand.
At least I don't think. I could be different in a month. I don't know.
So you and this dude are in limbo, or it's going forward?
Well, we talked a little bit...
now that you've pulled back the thick veneer that
Yeah.
is Mary Santora.
Right. We talked a little bit about Game of Thrones earlier today. Like, we were going back and
Okay,
forth
so-
for a little while. But he works
Did
during
he
the day.
like it or no?
He was disappointed as well.
Disappointed as
Yes.
well.
So I don't know.
He seems
I don't
like a
know if
nice feller.
He's very nice. He's very...
But you know what I told you on Saturday.
No, I forget.
You're not going to end up with a regular dude.
No. And that was the other thing is that I'm finding is that I keep going out with the same type of guy where it's like they have their shrimp together. It's like you own a house and you have a dog and you have like property and a good job. And it's like, well, that's not the kind of person I'm going to end up with, especially if I plan on moving. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
Why?
can't,
Why can't you get a guy that has all that and is willing to move for you?
because no one buys a house and has a life here and a good job, and then they're like, yeah, I'll uproot and pay $2,500 a month to live in a basement.
I mean, it could be like my roommate situation where he worked in IT and he can work remotely from anywhere. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it'd be a very particular
he's a pipe
type
fitter.
of
He's
thing.
not an IT guy. I mean,
Right.
They got pipes all over the world, Alan. There's
you're
pipes
also-
everywhere.
yeah, you can get a job
All
anywhere.
I'm saying is when someone buys a house, that's usually a bit of a
Usually they're
signal.
staying.
Yeah, they're going to be around for a little bit. Maybe you should join a roller derby team. You could come up with a cool name, get some of your yayas out, call yourself Luscious Malfoy or something like that.
No, I don't think
No?
so. My sister was a...
What about Hermione Danger?
Oh, good one, but no.
Okay.
No. But yeah, I need to stop...
Scratch her in the eye?
That's a good one.
No?
I need to stop going out with that type of guy because I know that there's nothing wrong with them wanting a relationship and essentially a wife. That's fine. You have your life together.
Tragedy Ann?
Yes.
Okay, good. Matt
Sold.
Splatter?
Sure.
Sherlock Bones? Tackleberry Finn?
Are you on a Reddit page? What are you doing right now?
I love roller derby names. They're the best. Flux Incapacitator?
Yes.
All right, good.
Flipping to the next page.
What if I did
No, I'm
that?
just looking at Smashley Simpson.
I just quit all comedy and became a roller derby girl.
Joan
Like, that was my
Quivers.
thing.
There you go.
Joan Quivers.
Yeah.
Like or a comedy-related one.
Jennifer Topaz.
Okay, that's cute. That
What is
sounds more
Jennifer
like
Topaz?
Topads.
Jennifer Topads. Instead of Lopez?
Yeah.
Jennifer Topads.
I thought Topaz,
All right.
and I was like, oh, more of a drag name.
Gorticia Adams.
Hey.
There you go.
Nothing's
Look
beating
at that.
a wish a
Right?
bitch would.
I wish a bitch would.
A wish a bitch would.
Yeah.
My sister was lead 'em around. Lead
Yeah, there you go.
around.
Yeah, that's right. See, those are good. And it's already in the family.
Yeah.
Say, get me on there.
So maybe that's what I'll do.
Vouch for me, sis.
I will just get a very, very strong roller derby career here in Cleveland, and then I can marry one of these guys.
That's right.
And that's happiness, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dumb Bitch. But that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't rhyme.
That's not clever.
That's not clever at all.
What's that reference to?
Right. All right, let me break here. Short show today. Tribe game at 6:10. I will have Collective Soul tickets for you shortly. They're on the road with Gin Blossoms. We were just talking about both those bands recently. They're going to do June the 11th. The Now's the Time tour. So if you like Collective Soul or Gin Blossoms, I'll set you up for that shortly. 35192 if you want to text, or AlanCoxShow.com for everything else.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. The Buzzard. This cat has 9 lives. If we were to, I don't know, throw it out this window, it's fine.
816-578-1007 if you want to join us. 800-348-1007. 35192 to text me. It's the final week for you to get yourself $1,000, 30 past every hour. So 4:30 is going to be your next chance to do it. And then 5:30 before we get out of here, short show today because the Tribe game will start at 6:10 tonight. They took 2 of 3 against Baltimore. They shut them out last night, 10-0 was the final. Tribe against the Orioles, and tonight is the first of 3 against the A's. So it's a 6:10 first pitch. So about 30 minutes prior is when your pregame coverage will begin. Mention that Sean Crahan, who is the clown in Slipknot, I think he's one of their percussionists. His daughter died. She's only 22 years old. And a girl, I think the same age, died running the Cleveland Marathon.
What? Just yesterday.
Some girl who went to Bowling Green or, Walsh University. I don't even know what that is. But an athlete. She played soccer. They said she was in amazing shape. You kind of got to be if you're going to run a marathon. And she collapsed.
Tell that to Bert Kreischer.
Did he run a marathon?
Yes, he did.
It
almost killed
10K.
him.
Yeah, it almost killed him. Right. Well, anyway, this girl, she collapsed while she was running the marathon yesterday, and they took her to the hospital, but she was DOA.
Did she have a heart attack or something?
Fit.
Walsh is in North Canton.
Okay, it doesn't say, but invariably they'll come back and go, they had a heart condition that they didn't know about, and all this. It's why, I can't say it enough, don't ever do anything. All right? Don't exert
anything at all.
No, don't exert your body. Everybody will go, oh, but sedentary lifestyle. Fine. Whatever. Yeah,
I think there's a in-between.
Are you saying there's a happy medium?
No, I'm just saying there is a medium.
Sitting and running a marathon?
There might be an
in-between
you can do. You don't have to run a marathon.
No.
But maybe just take some walks.
I take a few walks.
Yeah.
But again, this
Get
is
your steps in.
Yeah, this is somebody who they said was extraordinarily fit. So
yeah, she's playing college soccer.
Yeah, I imagine they might find out. Anyway, she's from Medina.
That's sad.
22 years old, yeah. She recently graduated. She's out of school.
Whole world ahead of her.
And a cute girl, too. And you know how I feel about cute people dying.
It's more attractive.
That's right. It is more tragic when someone attractive shuffles off their mortal coil. Boy, speaking of attractive, Sammy Shore also died. She did not finish. Okay. No. Sammy Shore died. Pauly Shore's dad, who, if you have seen Pauly Shore over the past 10 years or so, you would sometimes see his dad open for him, and people thought it was cute. People, you could be forgiven if you didn't know who Sammy Shore was. If you're either A, not old enough, or B, not a comedy nerd, you might not know who Sammy Shore was. So years ago, if you saw Pauly, his dad would open for him. And people would go, oh, it's so cute. His dad's... But Sammy Shore is legit back in the day. Sammy Shore is 92 when he died.
Whoa.
Within a year of Mitzi Shore dying, I think.
Yep.
Mitzi Shore got the Comedy Store he founded the Comedy Store. She got in the divorce. Pauly Shore's mom and dad.
I did not know that Mitzi was Pauly Shore's mom.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Didn't make the connection between the Comedy Store and Pauly Shore and Sammy Shore and Mitzi Shore?
I didn't know her last name. I've only ever heard her referred to as Mitzi.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
He was, but I mean,
comedy nerd this is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Learn something new every day.
But back in the day, Sammy Shore, if you're really old, you know who Shecky Green is, and Sammy Shore and Shecky Green were a team, but Sammy would back in the day when comics opened for musical acts, right? Like even as recently as maybe 10 years ago or so, you'd see somebody like Gaffigan in front of.
And sometimes it still happens.
Sometimes it still
Brewer
happens.
Brewer still does that all the time.
Yeah, Brewer does it a lot.
Florentine
Big
does
J
it.
will do it. Florentine will do it. They'll go.
But those are metal bands. I'm talking about Sammy Shore was in front of Streisand and Diana Ross.
Oh wow!
They usually don't have a comic open for J Lo.
My buddy Keith Terry was opening for Mariah Carey.
Really?
For
is he a
years.
St. Louis guy or Missouri or something like that?
He is. Where is he?
It doesn't matter.
I want to say St. Louis.
Yeah.
So
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe Pauly Shore would cancel Rock on the Range, Sonic Temple, because he was doing the comedy tent.
But he showed up.
He showed up.
He was there.
Because he was already in Ohio, I assume.
Yeah,
his dad died on Friday, I think.
We were all hanging out in the comedy tent. There was the evacuation had already happened, so we're just hanging out in the comedy tent, waiting to see if they're going to cancel it for sure or whatever. And he shows up and just he was in good spirits overall, and he got brought out on. He brought out the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And then the Foo Fighters brought him back out, and they did "My Hero" as a tribute to his dad, which was really touching.
Did you cry?
No, it's probably sure.
That would have gotten me.
Because if you get
because if there's one thing that takes away the sentiment, the whatever emotion there was, it's Pauly Shore walking around on stage going, "Hey, here I am," while like everyone's into it. Like it was very sweet. It was very sweet, but it wasn't really like it was more of a. It was a very heartfelt tribute, but it wasn't like tearjerker for me.
Yeah, got it.
Not for me. Some people did.
Yeah, Sammy Shore was old school. He was, one of those Borscht Belt comics who came up. Man, let me tell you, I was surprised that Sammy Shore was his actual name because it sounds like one of those old school showbiz names.
name.
Because you'd get these guys named like, Vic Lasagna or whatever, or
Dark Knight,
something. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm Mickey Lee." They'd change their name.
It's sad.
So he took over, or he founded the Comedy Store. Mitzi Shore took it over as part of their divorce in the early 70s.
Pauly on Twitter tweeted out a bunch of stories about his dad, and it was really, really sweet. So if you want to check that out, go follow Pauly Shore on Twitter.
How'd Pauly look? He was in here about a year ago, and he looked a little rough.
He looked okay. He looked good. I mean, he's aging, but I mean, he doesn't look bad.
Right.
Joan Jett looks weird.
So at 92, do we just assume that you die of natural causes?
Unless they say otherwise, I would.
Like it would be. I guess it wouldn't be very like out of nowhere. It's like, okay, you died 92 of cancer. It's like, all right, well, your body's obviously not going to fight that off.
He OD'd on fentanyl.
Yeah, like something.
He's like, it's about time. I'm 92. I want to try and party a little.
Yeah, something like that. Is it less tragic the older you get? Like if you die of something tragic?
Yes.
Really?
You're already old.
Yeah, you're 92.
It's like,
you're 92.
Yeah.
If you do anything, you're just going to die.
I died of an overdose. Like at 92, you were still kicking it?
Or maybe they just started. You should start doing drugs when you're 80. Screw it at that point. Nothing's working right anyway, Try it all.
Are you going to start drinking again when you turn 80?
Probably.
Okay.
I'll probably start doing if I'm old and, what am I going to live to? 100 at the most? If I make it to 85, I'm doing every drug. I'll do every drug.
It'd be like vodka and Metamucil.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like
Pepto and tequila.
I don't care. Yeah. Screw it.
When you turn 40, like for men or whatever, it's like your midlife crisis. I'm like, it's really not midlife. Like you got 20 more years, if that. Like that's not midlife. You got more.
Yeah, I had my midlife crisis at 32. So
that's what I'm
it doesn't
saying.
always hold fast as far as the age goes.
You're not going to live to 100. So
you might. My grandma lived to 103.
That's women, though. How many men usually live?
A lot of men are living into their 90s now.
Yeah, the age life expectancy for men and women is not that far off. It's like a couple years more for women. For guys, so if people in my family either die real young, like my grandma lived to 103. Well, 2 weeks shy of her 103rd birthday. She's been dead almost 3 years now.
Let's give it to her.
103, right?
Yeah, I'll give her 103.
Yeah, she was in her 103rd year.
Right, but she outlived all of her siblings by a lot. Because she was the youngest or the oldest, maybe? I forget.
That's the goal.
I think the oldest. But she had 3 sisters and 4 brothers.
Whoa.
So there were 8 kids, right? All of her brothers died by heart attack before 45.
God damn.
So her brothers all died early, just cacked out. Her sisters, her last sister, my Aunt Rosalie, she died a couple years before my grandma.
And this is your mom's mom, right?
My mom's mom.
Now, do you think that led to how your mom was brought up and how she brought you up and the emphasis on health and stuff like that?
That was, because
45... All 4 of them dying of a heart attack before 45.
They weren't like healthy people. They were just like...
They were
like
fat?
Well, no, they weren't fat, but it was like... nobody was worried about their health back then.
Right.
They were just like, have more butter noodles.
But that's what I'm saying is your mom was like ahead of the curve on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, she was.
So
I think she helped keep my grandma alive a lot longer than she would have been otherwise.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you think your mom saw that and then was like, okay, this is important to me?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
45, that's what I'm saying. People have their midlife crisis. Dudes have their midlife crisis, and at 40, I'm like...
And not everybody has a midlife crisis.
Yours was at 17 and a half, right?
I'm gonna die. Who cares?
What made yours be? Were you being funny when you said you had one at 32?
No, that's why I'm divorced.
So what did you just like? Were feeling like I'm getting old? I got to do something. I got to buy a car. What is the feeling behind it?
It was a combination of not partying in college. It was a combination of not being prepared to be a public person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a combination of taking full advantage of being a public person.
Can't relate to any of these things.
At a time,
Yeah, right? I got nothing.
At a time in my life where I was not at liberty to do that.
Yeah.
So it's why I'm divorced. Simple as that, you know? So it was one of those things where it was like, so now, you know, I look back at that and I'm like, I don't know how any of that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if everyone has a midlife crisis. I mean,
I
maybe about something. It's not always a guy getting hair plugs or a sports car. You know, for some people, it's like
traveling, vacation.
Well, yeah, or I want to figure out what my
sometimes it's not
next thing is, or
sometimes it's not a crisis as much as a realization that they need to get it together.
Or that they are missing out on something.
Right,
or
yeah.
like,
so
like
they'll
workaholic.
get a hobby, or
they'll
they'll stop working so much, they'll do something.
I envy the people that I see in the club all the time that are like 45 and they're like, yeah, I just came out a year ago. I'm like, what?
Better late than never.
Envy them?
No. I don't envy them, but I feel bad for those people. I'm like, you guys.
So,
I thought you said I envy them.
I probably did, but I didn't mean, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
You mean you respect them?
No,
Or
I feel
you-
sorry for them.
Okay.
What a way to live.
You pity them.
The only way you can live is till after your parents die. Like that's what some of these people are faced with. They wait to live their actual life, and when their family members start dying because they would live in shame.
I
otherwise.
have friends like that I'm like, they're going to come out after their parents are dead for sure. Like, there's at least
Tell
two.
me.
I'm not telling you. At least two. Where, you wouldn't know them anyway. There's at least two where I'm like, I guarantee it. Where they have like super religious parents or really strict. Where I'm like, yep, that's going to happen.
What a way to live, though. Because
It's miserable.
These people, I see them in the club. I saw some just this weekend. Married, got kids, and they're there at a leather bar, you know, after midnight, and they have to go home to get their kids ready for school. I'm like, what the?
If anything, my midlife crisis or like my moment like that was when I was in the Philippines, and I kind of went crazy there and started being a disobedient missionary, got excommunicated from the Mormon church, and then that opened the door for me to be honest with my parents finally about how I felt about the religion, all that stuff.
I wonder if I'm doing that.
yeah, because
now.
you're like, I'm not going to do this for the next 10,
I can't
15
do this.
years.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I mean, that's a life thing. I mean, you don't do the mission you do that for 2 years, but then you after
live that way forever.
You're supposed to live that way
At
forever,
least you were
yeah.
doing your dirt. I mean, you knew you didn't want it very early on. You didn't have a wife and kids to drag along with.
Yeah, but then I had to know a whole other thing.
Yes, but like you
Not
knew,
at that time, but
Yeah.
Alan, my friend's grandmother developed Alzheimer's and forgot she was an alcoholic, so she stopped drinking. True story. That's crazy.
what a way!
Imagine that.
Just to.
You
Like
just
your body's dependent on it. You're just like, man, I'm real shaky today. Like,
I don't know.
this anxiety is a bitch. I just don't know why you feel like
you
that.
forget your. Maybe I'll get
And
Alzheimer's and forget that I'm gay.
Well, not only that, but Alzheimer's. Could you imagine that?
Just
If he forgot he
that
was
you're
gay.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up? Where's my wife?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? Where are my kids? What am I paying these people for? What's going on?
I can't wait to slam some poon. 50-year-old pound cake.
Why do I want him to be in like khaki pants and a pink polo and Sperry's?
That's what he
Like,
already
just
wears.
standing there.
No, but I mean, Alzheimer's isn't, as I understand it, is not a blanket forgetfulness. Like things come and go.
Right.
So there would have been some days where she was like, "Man, where's my bottle of wild turkey?" And then other days she's, bring me some tea.
That's too funny.
Get my cold duck.
Yeah, I didn't know you could forget things like that. I thought like if it's
It's probably you don't forget you're an alcoholic, but you like forget to drink or something. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have a bottle of booze in the house and you just forget to go buy one, or it's not on your mind to go get it.
What if that's
I
the
would
cure?
assume.
What if they can get the gene for Alzheimer's and then they turn all the gay people straight?
That's
Like,
what it is.
You forget that you like D.
By the way, if you're already planning for Saturday, a disobedient missionary is at the Foundry. So write that down. Alan, I'm 33. My midlife crisis is getting tattoos. I'm in the process of getting a sleeve. Yeah. I mean, again,
I don't like the term midlife crisis, I guess. That's what it is.
I mean, it's what it's called, but I think it manifests differently with other people. And for guys, it tends to manifest in some very cliched ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, women do it. Women, I have a lot of middle-aged women will go on vacations
They get
alone.
their boobs done.
And, well, I think it's more of an
and
emotional.
I am 110% in favor of that, ladies. If you're having a midlife crisis,
I feel like it's more of an emotional thing for women, where they like try to find themselves.
Well,
or, you know
well,
what I
and
mean?
women are judged more harshly as they age. So
Right.
I fully understand why a woman would be trying to maintain whatever she had in her younger years. Guys, we get a lot of leeway when we get older. You know, women
do
are like,
you?
oh my
I didn't
God.
notice.
Well, you know what I mean.
Dad bod. Ow, ow.
Well, no, that's lame. That was I don't care what they say. That was never a thing. That was guys writing those articles. Go, Dad bod's in. Not working out and eating pizzas in.
It is.
Like,
it is,
please.
everybody.
Yeah,
it's
right.
still in. You
Sure
like
is. Yes.
my chubby body,
Right.
ladies.
That's why Bill's trying to lose weight all the time because it's so in. But
I just gotta
you
maintain.
know.
I'm just trying not to get bigger.
Yeah, just don't get bigger.
That's right.
I realized that at the Indians game, me and Dwayne were pointing at hot guys, and I was like, "Man, I like stocky guys." He liked skinny little dudes, and I'm like, "Ew!" Like that person would break like a twig.
Is that the guy that people always think is
yes,
me?
that's right. But my gay best friend that everyone thinks is Pound Cake every time that we're out together. 99% of the time, if you see me out with a gay black guy, it is Dwayne Duke, not Pound Cake.
He's signing autographs.
Right. He might get recognized more than I do.
He gets so annoyed by it. Because, I mean, he's like, they're stereotyping. I'm like, well, you're both gay black guys, and you're with me. Like,
Right.
what are they going to think?
They're just
you know?
connecting some dots.
Exactly.
Does he get dudes because of it? Is he getting more dudes than I do for being me?
It'll usually be like if someone, like the listener will come up and be like, hey, I love the show. Oh, is this Pound Cake? And I'm like, no, this is Dwayne. Like, it's usually in that capacity.
This is Pound Dude.
yeah.
He's a parody account. He doesn't even want to be.
A real life
parody account.
Poor guy. Oh, I feel for him.
That is beautiful.
IRL.
And not Pound Cake.
That's right. Yeah.
No, not Pound Cake.
That's very funny.
It gets so bad he starts taking on Pound Cake's characteristics, just not even meaning to.
Right.
Get out of my face, bitch.
You guys are very different people. I don't even know if you would get along, to be honest with you.
I've met him a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been nicer.
He's very different. He can poop at work.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Pretty much. That's so funny.
All right, let me break here. I'm going to have those Collective Soul tickets for you shortly. They're on the road with Gin Blossoms. The Now's the Time tour. They'll play June the 11th out at MGM Northfield Park. 35192, you want to text for anything, or AlanCoxShow.com for everything else.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS and everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
Chance to see Collective Soul, the pride of Atlanta, GA, and the Gin Blossoms from Tempe, Arizona. Teaming up, both bands with 25 years under their belts. The Now's the Time Tour. It's going to come through Tuesday, June the 11th at MGM Northfield Park. You go to Ticketmaster.com if you want tickets or more information on the show. Collective Soul and Gin Blossoms. It'll be a good time. Caller number 14. That pair is for you. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
62% fake laughs, 100% real sodomy.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Another shot for you to grab $1,000 in about 7 or 8 minutes, close to 30 past every hour, all during the week. This is the final week for you to do it if you haven't had a chance to go fund yourself yet. Another chance for you coming up shortly. A woman had a dog walker in her home, hired a dog walker on an app called Wag. And, of course, since everybody also has nanny cams all around their houses, too, which I guess makes sense. You might set something up if you're going to have somebody in your house. She hired a dog walker and then watched as the dog walker brought over her boyfriend. She saw the woman walking around naked in her house. So she's like, I'm pretty sure they were having sex in my house.
Yeah.
The dog walker.
Not allowed?
Wait a minute. The woman and the dog or the woman and the boyfriend?
It was all three.
The woman and the boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. The dog. It wouldn't do anything with the dog.
Got it.
A woman and the boyfriend, and her response was that she just likes being naked. I don't know
It's
if
not your house.
Yeah, would you ever get naked in another person's house when you're watching their dog or doing anything?
I've stayed with friends before, and if I have a guest room, I'll be naked in the guest room getting ready. But that's just
But you're not going to the
that's
common
different
area.
though.
I'm
Yeah,
not,
she
even
was
if they're not home,
yeah.
I'm not going to the kitchen to get a snack.
I mean, I feel
naked,
weird using the bathroom in someone else's house
Right.
or showering, so I wouldn't walk around naked.
I've showered at people's houses, being on the road and
I
stuff.
just feel weird about it.
But I also
But have
feel
you ever
like
just been naked.
I just assume there's probably a camera somewhere, everywhere now. Like people have pinhole cameras, or they've got what are the teddy bear cam?
Yeah.
Or they've got
their TV has a camera too.
Or they just have a ring somewhere. They have that inside.
Yeah.
A lot of places people will do
On
that
the
now.
preview of the alert, it showed a man in our house, someone that I wasn't expecting. So I opened it up, and that's when I saw that she was there with a man in our house, and they were going straight for our bedroom.
She believes that you were having sex in both of the bedrooms.
It's okay that she believes that that's not what was going on.
To see that video where she's just butt naked.
It got hot, and as I said, I don't like wearing clothes, and I feel terrible about it. It was not something I did with intent or with malice.
Mm-hmm. Listen, it was hot. I don't like wearing clothes in other people's houses when I'm babysitting their dog. This woman was also caught on camera calling the woman's dog a bitch. Which couldn't you just pass that off as it was a descriptive?
I don't know.
Rather than an expletive?
But if that's something to get upset about, I would have quit my job about 3-4 weeks ago here.
She said the dog was acting like a jerk. And that's why she...
And they're making out hardcore on the camera and stuff too.
Yeah.
Really, really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Come on.
I get hot. I
Yeah,
wasn't
you are.
doing anything.
But she had been acting like a jerk, and I agree that's not appropriate. I was frustrated, not at her, at myself, at other things. I had gotten in a fight with my mom, and I agree it was not appropriate.
I love everyone's excuses. Everybody's got an excuse for something. I got in a fight with my mom.
So I had to get naked in
So I
this
had to
lady's
get naked and
house.
kick the dog.
I don't care what your problem is. Tell your story walking.
How do you know that a WAG walker or sitter who's done 1,000 walks or 500 sitting sessions, how they're doing on the 501st session? They could be a completely different person from when you last checked in with them for the background check.
I used to walk a friend's dogs in Chicago, and I assumed that she had, and we were friends, but I assumed she had cameras all through her place. So I was very professional with her dogs.
That's good.
Although she did steal one of my bongs. So that made me a little bit upset because I never got it back. But I in no way conflated that with any issues with the dog walking. Dogs were great. But
owner's a bitch.
Owner's a bitch.
I wonder what our dog walker, our dog sitter would do if I wasn't there, because my roommates were in Mexico for a week.
And you weren't the dog sitter?
No, they have one. I work. I'm not going to be there all day. The dogs are literally, her job was to sit there all day.
Yeah, if he gets it,
But
I mean,
dogs
he's
don't-
gone
Yeah,
8
you're gone,
to
yeah.
7. You
But
know
also,
what I mean?
dogs don't need to be watched all day.
But he's
sure
gone all day long.
Like
though.
you go and walk them.
I'm sure she left at some point, but she pretty much took them out in the morning and got their food ready and took them for a walk. And
Yeah.
I wasn't doing all that stuff. I just moved in.
Man, I'd walk someone's dog.
Of course. It's fun.
Maybe that
You
could
get
be
out.
one of your replacements. Anytime you feel sad, you can just go walk someone's dog.
I have such a minute amount of time.
Minuscule?
A minuscule amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Alan, you're right. There are cameras everywhere. I'm watching you right now. Oh, my God.
We set those ones.
I wish someone had told me that.
Yeah, I taught Mary how to do a little bit today.
Yeah, then maybe I can run it the next time he's out.
Oh, yeah?
Give
I'll
her
try.
little lessons. Yeah.
Good for you.
And if it lasts for the one segment, then that's what at least I tried.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because, I want people to understand it's so hard.
So hard.
But it's really not.
It's like the hardest thing.
So it is or it isn't? I don't know.
The actual mechanics of it, it's not difficult to grasp.
I've been doing it for a year now, so I'm very natural at it, but
But switching the camera, the one segment I
Yeah.
tried it to switch the cameras and anticipate who's going to answer or how long to stay on somebody, or I'll switch it to Pound Cake's on the phone and the camera's on him for 10 seconds. I'm like, oh crap! Like trying to get it.
I
all
thought it
together.
like auto.
No, I switch it.
Oh.
I'm switching to whoever's speaking.
Remember, that's why he always looks perfect in his, and I'm sitting like this.
No, I
and
know that, but I
can't.
thought for a while we had a thing that recognized who
that was the old one when we had the one that was over here.
Oh, I see.
It was just like the wide of the room, and
I
that one
see.
would be automatic. But with this program, I'm selecting who's talking.
I see.
Or whatever camera angle I want.
Right.
Sometimes, like I said, I'll put it on someone reacting to someone talking, because Pound Cake's great for that.
That's why I tell people Bill is my Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Rosebud. Is that right?
Peas. The peas. You ever hear people know who Orson Welles is still?
He was a writer.
I know him mostly from Animaniacs. They like to make a lot of Orson Welles jokes on Animaniacs.
I knew it from Superbad.
I don't think that there are any expletives in this, and if there are, I'll have to dump it. But there's a classic bit of Orson Welles, who is, of course, a famous director, Citizen Kane, but also a famously prickly guy in real life. Didn't like to be told how to do things. He had somehow been paid an exorbitant amount of money to do a commercial for frozen peas. I don't know if it was Bird's Eye. I don't know if it was Jolly Green Giant. And he's being directed from the booth as how to read things. You're going to have a guy, any voiceover you do, you're going to have a guy that's in there. Could you give me one of these? Could you do it like this? You're putting the accent, on the wrong syllable. It's not minuscule, it's minuscule, right? That kind of thing. Orson Welles did not like being told what to do. Very famous tape of him getting mad at the director.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. You really mean that?
Yeah, so in other words, I'll start half a second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
If you can make it almost when that shot disappears.
That's kind of muddy. It's muddier than I want. I've got it on CD somewhere because I'm a nerd. But he's like,
are you really sure you want to say July in a frozen pea commercial?
Yeah. We just want you to do.
Just do what's written.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're doing a commercial. This isn't your follow-up to Citizen Kane.
Right.
Just read the script, man.
Like Shatner saying sabotage, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Where's Shatner sabotage? He says sabotage, right?
Sabotage.
Nah, well.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, Steve.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Steve?
So the whole dog watching thing, I think it's pretty normal to get naked while you're watching someone's dog because, I've done it.
Because you've done it, that means it's normal?
Oh, yeah, well, if it's coming from me, it's probably not normal, but I'm saying, it's probably, an undisclosed thing that happens a lot. I was seeing a girl, and she goes, hey, I'm going to watch these people's dogs, so I figured, go over and, have a pizza, kind of hang out. Well, things got hot like the last girl, and we got naked, and I learned a lot about the girl, too. We started doing it, and she was she had a very heavy orgasms, if I can say that on the air. And I think that
heavy.
dog,
Wait,
heavy.
You mean heavy orgasms? You mean loud orgasms?
I think he means moist.
Oh, I see.
A real heavy orgasm.
Oh.
Dog was running all over the bed during it was happening.
You mean she was a squirter?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could say that because Pound Cake was like, "Oh, I don't know if you can say it on the air." I'm like, "Well, I won't say it."
Well, he can't. I can.
Yeah. Heavy orgasm, so much better.
Heavy
than
orgasm.
Oh, heavy orgasm's making it.
Heavy orgasm was at Sonic Temple this week.
Yeah,
they got canceled.
Well, yeah, I think it's a normal thing.
You know what though? I was dating a girl, and she was watching some friends' dogs, and she's like, "We're gonna stay at their house tonight, and we're gonna bang in their bed," and we did.
I just would not do that because I think it's somebody flipping the script on me, and I wouldn't
would not be happy.
I wouldn't want to come home and not know. I don't have cameras, not know that somebody banged in my bed. Like,
I'd be hella pissed.
Yes,
Don't bring anybody in my house.
Stop it.
Because that's usually
Hank, just keep your boner in your pants
just
until
wait.
you're done with
Exactly.
the dogs.
Because that's usually the excuse that girls give, or like anyone gives who doesn't want to hang out with the guy. Like, can't go out tonight, dog sitting. Like, I've done that before.
Yeah,
that or I have to poop.
I can't go out tonight. I have to poop.
No, really, it ruins my entire night.
I got a real heavy poop coming.
No, I can't go to the club tonight. I might drop it low and something might come out. So no.
I found out she had real heavy orgasms.
That's crazy. When I was
well, they've reworked the kilogram, so who knows how much that is anymore.
When I was in my first apartment by myself in the summer of 2017, my mom had a key because when I would go out of town, she would feed my cat.
Yeah.
And the one time I was texting with my sister, and she's like, "Yeah, well, I just left your place." I was like, "What are you doing at my place?" And she goes, "Oh, well, me and so just stayed at your place because we were already in Lakewood." I was like, "You can't be bringing dudes back to my." This was like a 600 square foot studio apartment. I was like, I know what you're doing there. 1, 2. That's not what that key's for. Like, this is not just your bang palace. Yes.
Who is
Bang
this?
palace.
My younger sister.
She's lucky she's your sister, because if that was like a friend of mine, like, you are no friend of mine.
Well, my mom just gave her the key and was
hell
like,
no.
"Hey, if you're going to be out that way, feed the cat while you're there."
Yeah, just because
do your business.
I think being in a strange place makes people horny. So they but they don't stop to think of like where that is. If you're on a cliffside in another country, you go, yeah, let's get to
Okay,
it.
well, hold
but like
on.
if you're in someone else's house,
Now, I know your position on this. I'll flip it, though, because I've hooked up in an Airbnb before.
That's
someone
different.
else's house.
You
but
rent
that's someone
it.
else's house.
You are renting it. You are not paid to be there.
yeah, you're renting
That's
it, and
different.
those people accept what might go
Yep,
on in their
that's
house.
different.
And you know what? If I can have some sex,
Stupid.
I'm gonna have some sex. I don't care where it is.
I do.
That's disrespectful.
I'm just gonna.
It
I'm
is
not gonna have
disrespectful.
sex
That's
in
really
somebody else's
disrespectful.
house.
When someone's trusting you to be in their house, eating their food is one thing. Banging in their bed, come on.
Like, my brother had a
That's
problem.
super disrespectful.
He had friends, when they found out where he lived.
Nobody asked me to do this, by the way.
To what?
To watch their dogs.
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
My brother had a problem when his friends found out where he lived. They would always park in his driveway, not come into his house. They would always park in his driveway to bang. Like, if they were ever in the area, they would park their car.
Was it like a long hidden driveway or something?
It was long enough, but like, I don't know why. Maybe it was because they were on their creep. They couldn't go to their house or whatever. They would always park in his driveway and bang. And he's like, "Dude, you can't just be banging in my driveway. I have neighbors. Like, the windows are all fogged up, the car's bouncing, and they would always park in his driveway."
But that's one of the funny. Like, if you don't get caught by the cops, it's one
That's
of the,
disrespectful.
It's one of the funniest things in the world.
At like 8 o'clock in the morning, you come out like wiping off your car, and then you're like,
they're doing it at 8 o'clock in the morning.
It was all times of the day.
That's
hilarious.
He would just walk out. He's like, "Who is in my driveway right now? Is that so and so? Like, that's his license plate."
But seeing the fogged up windows is always so funny to me.
And he thought it was just like a
I've ever seen
weather
it.
thing.
I'd be. Let me give away this money first. $1,000. Good luck.
Hey, it's Rover. Go fund yourself. We have your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword GREEN to the number 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info, standard data, and message rate supply in this nationwide contest. That's GREEN to 200-200. Good luck and go fund yourself. From 100.7 WMMS.
I mean, if somebody's fogging up the windows in their car in your driveway, I wouldn't be happy with that, but that's still different than being in my house.
Not in a
banging
nice
in
white
my
neighborhood.
bed.
The reason that people, when they rent their house, the reason people don't say to their friends, "Don't have sex in my house," is because they assume that's implied.
Yep.
If they thought you were going to, they'd go, I've heard about you.
Please
don't
don't
have
do
sex
this.
in my
I
house.
would
Yes.
expect people to say that to me. They were like, "Listen, no grinder boys, none of your little thoughts." I would be like, I wouldn't even be offended. I'm like, you know what? I understand.
When I first got my couch, the guy I was seeing at the time wanted to hook up on it, and I was like, "No, my niece and nephew are coming over in a couple days."
Oh, I thought you were going to say your knees.
No, yeah, my
heavy
knees
orgasms.
Are just, yeah, my knees pop.
because-
But I was like, I don't need your naked body on this couch, and then my niece to be sitting in the same spot, like playing in 2 days.
It's beyond the
It freaked me
sex,
out.
though. It's because think about if something goes wrong. What if they don't want to hook up? What if they just want to, case the joint and then rob it later? And
No,
then
this is a guy that I knew.
I'm just saying.
And he was like, "Oh, let's break in the couch." I was like, "Get off my couch."
For
Like,
normal people, I'm just saying, you're in a house you're not familiar with. You're just there to do a job. You have one job. Don't screw it up. Just sit there and watch the dogs, and then you're inviting strange guys over. If it was a Tinder hookup or a Grindr hookup or a first date, the guys could just come
that's
over.
taking a lot of liberties.
I
Having
don't care,
a stranger.
and
in
I
there.
don't care what technology is available. There's always going to be a way for people to get together. Just have some basic functional
Go to the bar.
respect for people. Alan, what if you have a roommate and they're constantly having sex on the couch in the shared living room?
They rent.
Have sex in your room.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Sometimes
still,
things happen on the couch.
Stop it.
been
I
there.
don't
You
care
can
about that.
take
Nothing
20
just
seconds
happens.
to get up and go to the bedroom.
I don't even.
I
That
didn't want her in
doesn't
the
bother me.
bedroom. I want her on the couch and then out the door.
No, oh my God.
That doesn't bother me. If you pay rent, you have certain.
But you wouldn't
Okay,
want to
that-
come home. I think there's still a code of ethics there. I mean, if you're living with people, you wouldn't want to come in from a long day of work and
And
your
see somebody
roommate's
running the
bending
train.
somebody over. Yeah, I mean,
No, I wouldn't want to, but that's
You deal with
part
it.
of the fun.
No.
Could you get
I
caught?
guess I
Who
don't
knows?
find the fun in it. I guess
do.
There are a lot of places you could get caught that wouldn't be. Why do you want to get caught in your own home?
I don't want to get caught.
Well, he said somebody.
If you
somebody's on the
come
couch.
home-
I like having a timer.
Dude, I'm so glad.
He's racing to the end of whatever he's doing with anyone too.
20 calories. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
Bill and I briefly talked about living together last year when I was like, we were both looking for a place and I was like trying to get out of my sister's house. I'm so glad that we never moved in together because I imagine how many times I
know.
would
We
come
would have had
home
to kill your cat.
and you would have just had a chick on the couch
Nothing
or
will
something like that.
nothing
I'm
will
like, come
murder a
on.
friendship faster than cohabitation.
Oh, right.
I lived with one of my sophomore year in college. Lived with one of my best friends, and we hated each other and I'm pretty easy to live with, by the way. We hated each other by the end of the year. We didn't speak since.
I think about that now after living alone and loving it and being so set in my ways, and I'm like, I'm going to have a roommate when I move. When I move to New York or LA, that's all there is to it. I'm going to have to live with other people, and I know it's going to make me insane.
Yeah, but also it's like when I've lived with people, and I haven't done it very often, but like, you could just be in your room. Or when they're
That's
gone,
me.
you do
But
this.
I get really worked up about common spaces where it's like I wash my dishes usually right after a meal, or if I have to leave, I'll wash it like within a 12-hour period. I don't leave dishes in the sink. I don't do anything like that. So little things like that aren't big deals to people will drive me nuts.
Yeah, but that's also where you kind of got to vet a potential roommate too.
Right.
Be like, how do you feel about this?
Or dishwasher. Problem solved.
Oh yeah, I've
Just get one installed.
I've not had a dishwasher in a
Well,
very
yeah,
long
not every
time.
place has a dishwasher.
Right, I don't have a dishwasher at my place. I
guys
haven't had a
live
dishwasher
like-
at either of my places.
The Flintstones. Jeez.
But not every apartment has a dishwasher.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Sometimes you're the dishwasher.
I had a dishwasher back at my Prospect Avenue apartment, and I never used it because I never made any food. All my food was disposable, or like my plates were disposable. I would just throw them away. So.
Alan, you have sex at weddings. Is that better or worse?
Better.
In the
don't
bathroom,
own that
we have
place.
sex
Yeah,
at people's
and they don't
weddings.
All right, so if we
live
have
there.
bathroom if we have sex in the bathroom at someone's house that your dog's
Better.
sitting, is that better?
Better.
Yes.
Way
Okay.
better.
Okay.
That's
Have
where
sex in the bathroom.
The
That's where
bathroom
dirty
is,
things
it's
happen.
where gross things happen. That's
Why do
right.
you guys think sex is so gross? You guys are all the nudists, and you have very different views when it comes to actual
Because
sex.
we don't look at the naked human form as always sexual like you do. That's why we're saying, so that's why it's not the same thing to us.
Cool.
And by the way, I wasn't saying gross as a pejorative. I mean, it's supposed to be gross. Things are supposed to come out of places when you're having sex.
Yeah, you're wiping up. It's not.
Alan, I took a girl's virginity while she was babysitting.
Where'd you take it?
Gave it to the kid.
Oh, now you're double.
All right, listen.
Double virgin.
Double virgin.
Hey, if you missed Papa Roach at Sonic Temple,
They were great.
they're back on the road. They're coming through August the 18th, the Who Do You Trust tour with Papa Roach. So if you want to see them, Jacobs Pavilion at Nautica in August. I will have those tickets for you when we return.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. Rover's Morning Glory.
Kim and Kanye.
Roach, if you missed him at Sonic Temple on Saturday or saw him and want to see him again, the tour is coming back in August. Who Do You Trust tour with Papa Roach. Jacobs Pavilion at Nautica, Sunday, August the 18th. LiveNation.com's got your tickets, and I've got this pair for you, too, for Papa Roach. Good luck. Caller 11-216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Hello.
Alexa, play 100.7 WMMS on iHeartRadio.
Here you go.
From the Final Touch Construction Roofing Expert Studios, it's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. Cleveland.
There was Revolutionary War porn in my entertainment center that wasn't there when I went to sleep. Revolutionary War porn.
I don't know what.
In Kent. One of our interns who lived in Kent, he said Bill hooked up on my couch when I lived in Kent.
Who did I stay with in Kent? I need it.
Could have just been a drunk one night thing. It might not have been like a.
Oh, okay. And now I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I like the Revolutionary War porn. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like my issue with that is that's fine when you're 22, 23. When you're young and you're drinking and it's party days. But, like, now I have nicer things in my house. I paid a lot of money for my couch. Don't bang on it.
What's the age got to do with that, though?
In this situation.
Well, I guess because this is my first time having decent stuff.
Oh, all right.
So maybe I think it's a getting older thing, not a poverty thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, if you've had the same futon, I know Pound Cake's talked about a futon forever. Like, you have that same one that's what that's for, then, yeah, go ahead.
It's like Patrice used to hate cops.
Yeah, right,
Doesn't
right.
hate cops anymore. I say he doesn't hate cops anymore.
I used to be when I was. I'm not anti-cop. I used to be when I was young, but not now. I'm 41. I own shit. I like cops. Cops are here for people that own shit. I don't hate cops like I used to hate cops, because that's no one else to call when a nigga. When you own shit, this is a young table. When you own shit, you'll like the cops. Trust me. When I was young, hold you, bro. 26. Well, you're getting close. What's your credit? Credit good? Credit's good? Did you buy anything yet? You own anything? What do you own? Nigga, that don't count. You know what I meant, slick bastard. But it's all right. There's a lot of white people here. Just pick up yourself. I own shit. What do you own? And the thing is, you didn't want a straight lie, so you said a car. And you know there's white people sitting right here going, oh, boy. Congratulations, nigga, you own a car. Yes, you work hard, young man.
See, now you own things, Mary. You
That's
know,
true
you've got
what
a
it is.
bed and I assume an
I need a new
entertainment
bed,
center.
but yes.
You know, your new boyfriend's got a television.
I don't have a new
What friends do you trust just to have access to your house at all hours of?
Can't even trust your
day?
sisters.
Trust
well,
me.
I would trust them now.
Oh.
They're both in committed relationships, so that I would trust them now.
Like-
Would you trust
I
me?
have no.
Why not?
Absolutely not. You would never have a key to my apartment because
Why
you
not?
would move things. You'd fart on stuff. You would.
I absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yes,
You would troll
I
her.
would not.
You
I
would
would
fart
not.
in my fridge and find a way to keep it until I opened it.
I would not do that. I'm not going to do that.
I feel like she's got you down.
I
as to
do.
what
I
you
know
would.
him.
I've never farted in anyone's fridge before.
But you would fart on stuff.
I like that Mary's go-to for you is that you would try to trap a fart in her refrigerator.
Right.
Not like, oh, you turn my clock back or whatever.
Like,
You
I
mess
mean,
with my,
I
you
can
know.
still do that even without a key.
I have.
I'm going to try it. Now I feel like I have to do
Don't
that.
fart in my fridge.
Well, you've invited it.
I tried the.
I have two girlfriends that I would trust. They're both married with kids, and I've known them forever. So my two best girlfriends, Ashley and Kelsey. My sisters, my mom has a key, and that's probably it, to be honest with you. None of my male comedian friends will ever have a key to my apartment. I don't care how close we are.
I think it's better to err on the side of caution. in that
Because
situation.
you're opening the door for pranks. If I were to give any one of you, hey, my mom can't make it, can you feed my cat? If I were to leave any one of you, you would copy the key and hand them out, or I'd end up on blast on Twitter for something like
go through your hamper,
yes,
see what like
going through
clothes.
stuff.
Yep.
I don't trust that.
I tried the whole trust thing with my friend in high school because I let him borrow my car, and then he went to go see his girlfriend, and he didn't have a car. I'm like, dude,
where was his girlfriend?
She was working at Dairy Queen at the time.
Well, but how far did he drive your car? He didn't drive it to Indiana. I mean,
he drove it far enough. Like I was at our high school, which was the end of Oberlin with Lorain County JVS. He drove it all the way up into Amherst when he was supposed to come pick me up.
Isn't that like 20 minutes?
Half hour.
Maybe even more.
It doesn't matter. He was supposed to go home and pick me up.
A friend of mine went out of town and left his car.
Too much pound
cake. That's
very excited about something that happened a long time ago.
Whatever.
He left his car in the driveway with the keys. And he's like, in case you have to move it or whatever, like if you here's the keys. And his roommate put like 400 miles on his car because he was
It's like
just
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
He was just using it. Like he was like, oh yeah, well I like took it to the store. Oh, I put gas in it. Like, he was like, dude, you can't just put miles on my car like that.
Is
like,
it $400?
I don't know what it was, but I remember him being really, really pissed about it.
I would be pissed too.
I'd be pissed even if I own my car. I'm still like, don't touch my car.
My roommates, like when they left for Mexico, they were like, okay, our car's in the garage. They were like, you could take it for a joyride if you want.
What kind of car is it?
Joyride. Yeah.
What kind of car is it?
I'm not gonna say, but it's
Is
nice.
it a joy-rideable car?
Oh yeah.
Just
Oh,
you
wow.
can say the
What's
brand
the
of
car?
car.
BMW.
Okay.
Ooh.
See, that's like
That I would
it's
do.
not, no.
It's not a Corolla.
Yeah, no one's gonna be like. Now we know where you live.
I know
because
but-
of that.
I know, but yeah, it's nice cars.
No, it's nice.
You're having a blast over there.
I am.
You're just playing them and giggling to yourself. I love it.
Why is there? Because someone mentioned that in the chat room on the live stream. Gee, shocking, he's single, and I'm.
To whom?
I think it's probably about me over something that I said in the last segment about like hooking up with girls, whatever.
Yeah.
But why is that a bad thing to be single?
It's not.
Because I don't.
There's a huge stigma against it. Like, you
Right.
can't even find someone to love
I could find
you.
a bunch of people to love me.
I could have a boyfriend. I've said this 100 times on air.
Yeah.
We're like, what do you mean you can't find a man? I said, if I wanted a boyfriend right now, I would have one.
And
I
if you're
can
really
pick-
paying attention, Bill has found lots of people along the way.
Yes. But there is a huge stigma of not being in a relationship. That like
Nobody wants
being alone means that you're a lonely, sad.
Being alone.
You know what I mean?
But that's a very anachronistic view of being single. A lot of people are by themselves and they're
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
Being
Right.
alone does not mean you're lonely.
Right, and there's a lot of people that are
I
in a
wrote an
relationship
article about that.
and are lonely still.
If you go to pressurelife.com, you look up Mary Santora, and that's Alone versus Lonely. I have a whole article on they're not the same thing.
You will never be lonelier than when you were in a bad relationship.
Oh my God, that was exactly what my whole thing was.
Yeah.
Is that a couple years ago, I was living a completely different lifestyle, like planning for a wedding and all this stuff. And it was like, why am I so lonely all the time? And now I never see anybody outside of comedy. And it's like, hey, this isn't so bad, you know?
Because we left Sonic Temple earlier than we had planned because the weather was so god-awful, we got some Grandpa's Cheese Barn time on the way back from Columbus.
Pickled eggs. Did you get the pickled eggs?
No, I gotta
You
tell
didn't
you.
get pickled eggs?
Grandpa's Cheese Barn, this is a classic case of overextending yourself, by the way.
Here we
this
go.
place.
Here we go.
The cheese, dynamite.
Yeah.
Right?
So many options.
Stick with the cheese.
You didn't like the meats, the smokies, and the jerkies?
You can get those anywhere. I'm just saying, I'm like, and even the jams, cool. But like
Marmalade?
The butters, the
marmalade. No, I mean when you get into like and it's all good and it was packed out and it was like, you know, fine, it's fine. But it's kind of when you get into that esoteric stuff. You know, I bought a bag of, I don't know what they called it, but it was like a mix. It looked really good, like
trail
pretzels,
mix?
yeah. And I like, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stick with the cheese. They got a whole separate thing with candy. And it's like,
Well, that's a different shop. It's a candy shop.
I know, but still,
They
it's
got
like
the best gummy bears.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No,
They're
everybody
the
says
best.
that.
No,
You're
We
like,
bought like
they
4 bags
have
when
the
we
best
went.
gummy bears.
I know.
I've talked about these.
Just
They're
I know
Aberdeen
you
gummy
have.
bears.
They're not
incredible.
But just
They're so much better than the Haribo.
No,
trash.
no.
Whatever it is.
Whatever you want
Garbage.
to do. Stick with the cheese. I mean, it's all good, you know. And you know, Gwen goes,
I like
wouldn't it be hilarious if we rented like those cabins? I go, what do people do in those cabins? I've never once seen anybody walk out of one of those cabins.
I also think it'd be hilarious to rent those cabins.
But what do you do?
You watch people buy cheese and candy.
Oh, God, I can do that without renting a cabin.
Yeah,
Please do a live show from Grandpa's Cheese Barn.
But what do you do when you rent the cabin?
I don't know, but it's really
You
funny.
stay there.
And stay there. You have
Sleep.
you get away from your problems, Alan. You get out in nature 12 seconds from the highway.
Nature. You're like on the property of the cheese barn in a cabin. I'm like, I've never once seen someone walk out of one of those.
And they are right there. Like, they're not set away from the cheese
in
barn.
the parking lot.
They are in the parking lot, and then you're just mingling with people, stopping to buy cheese.
I want us to. Let's do that.
I
We'll
wanna
set
do
up
it, yeah.
cornhole tournament or something. Oh, that would be great.
They're probably booked.
Yeah,
They might be.
I wonder. I hadn't looked into it. I'm curious how much they cost, but like I've never once seen anyone
I'm
walk
gonna
in or
look
out of one of
these
those
up.
things. Now, granted, I've only been there twice.
Yeah, still.
Not so my experience is merely anecdotal, but it was packed out, and I do like that place. I mean, they do a good job with what it is they do. But boy, I'll tell you what, those restrooms must be hellish,
dude.
All those people walking around
I've
just
never-
stuffing their face with cheese
But that
samples.
makes you not poop. Regular
Right, but
people.
but sooner or later you're going to have to.
Yeah, but it's not there that you're doing it.
Oh, it
Unless
might.
he's talking about in the cabins.
I was there one time when a guy had a real panic. He did something in the bathroom, and I was just like walking through, and he just opens the door crack. He's like, "Can you get someone?"
Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
like, "Yeah, yeah." Well,
That's when like you just recognize
Get
another human
someone.
being
Yeah,
in need.
he's
We're
like-
like,
he's
this
like-
guy.
He said, "I need someone that works here because something's happening." He flooded the toilet.
Please help me.
Flooding a public toilet
That is
is
the most embarrassing.
so embarrassing, especially because like they have one toilet
Yeah,
there.
there's nothing. You can't make it up. You can't help.
You can't blame it on.
The devil pinched off a loaf in here.
At that point, I would just run away. I don't want to be
But he
involved.
couldn't. Like he was
no,
like
not-
pants around his ankles.
I'm talking about if he asked me, I would just be like, yeah, sure, and then I would run away.
No,
I just
so
I don't want to be involved.
All I do is there's someone in the bathroom that needs help. That's all
Yeah.
you gotta do.
Yeah.
It's not my embarrassing moment. It's his.
Do you
I'm just the middleman.
guys happen to have an industrial grade plunger on the premises?
They would have
Snake at that point. You snake the toilet.
I got a guy in there who needs assistance ASAP.
He was so panicked.
This was at Grandpa's Cheese
This
Barn?
is at Grandpa's Cheese Barn probably 5 or 6 years
It's
ago.
like an older guy or younger guy?
That was like a young Asian guy, and he
Yeah.
was just freaking out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Simple solution. You guys know what my simple solution is?
Don't poop there?
No, it's not.
Don't poop in
It's
public.
not a simple solution.
Right, but yeah, okay. I mean,
If
that
they're
is
tag-
a solution.
Bill, you're looking up the cabins. If their
I'm trying
tagline
to.
is like "Stay with us and have a Gouda weekend," it needs to be. If there's not a cheese pun in these cabins, I'm gonna be so upset.
I'll tell you what, though, they do it right. My wife bought a cookie, and the girl goes, "Would you like me to warm that up for you?" And she's like, "I
Yes.
would like you to do that." That's right.
Can't believe
So,
you didn't get the pickled eggs.
They did. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me. I know
I
we just
said it
talked about
15
it. I
times
know.
on Friday.
I know, but all I hear is whap whap whap.
I know. I know.
No, I know. I thought that I would have seen it. Honestly, didn't even know there was an upstairs.
That's where they were.
Gwen's like, we got to go upstairs. I'm like, oh, there's an upstairs. So yeah, I had a little bit of cheese. I mean, meat's fine, all that. But you know, they're overextending themselves.
I think obviously they're not. Well, the place is packed.
Yeah, but
People
I mean,
like it. They want the cheese and the meats.
yeah.
The meats are good.
I know.
Meats are
I
great.
know. I know.
I get some of the meats.
I know.
I want the meats
None
and
but
the cheese
love.
together.
None but love.
Dude,
for
maybe
'em.
this is what I'm going to do on Wednesday. I'm just going to drive down to Grandpa's Cheese Barn and make a day of it. Come back with
Make
a bunch
a
of
day of it.
Come back with a bunch of pickled eggs.
Well, if you can-
sleep overnight Tuesday.
There you go.
That's what I'll do.
All right.
I can't figure out.
You think iHeart will pay for that?
No.
Go stay at Grandpa's Cheese
I mean,
Barn.
in a way, if you pay for it, they paid for it.
Kind of, yeah.
They pay you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
I'd love to know, people. If you've ever rented one of those cabins, let me know.
Yeah, let me know where you do it because it doesn't seem to be attached to the actual Grandpa's Cheese Barn website.
Oh, it might be. It can't be an Airbnb.
I don't know what it is.
Oh. It's got to have its own thing, right?
It's its own thing.
No, I know what you're thinking. It's an Airbnb.
Yes!
Wait!
I like the cheese buns.
I'm calling you out on this.
Call me out.
Gotta let the song play.
Statistically on record as hating dad jokes.
Yes.
Yes, but that one maybe I liked that one.
Well,
So-
she said, have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
I figured
Yeah, so
we
how
were
do-
among
so-
friends here.
So
Yeah.
how do you hate dad jokes if you want to make a joke like "have a good time"?
Because I am a flip-flopper, and I'm inconsistent, and I'm a dumb bitch. Is that what we needed to hear?
Dumb bitch.
Is that what we needed to hear to make this okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the cheese puns, and I've been racking my brain trying to think of another one. I'm just like, Swiss. I really have been. Cheddar. It's better with cheddar.
Cheddar. Yeah. No, we got like $50 worth of cheese.
Good.
So, yeah, that'll be good.
I took a Lactaid before we went in there, when we went, and I had a couple nibbles.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheese talk.
No, it's all good. It's no, we were having dinner after Saturday night because we were staying in the Arena District. I don't really know my way around Columbus, which is near Nationwide Arena, and so we were having dinner on the patio along this like big walkway, and this flood of people starts walking in. There's like 9:30, 9:45, and I was trying, and they were all holding stuff in their hands, and they're holding these pennants, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. And it said, no. The Columbus Destroyers, which is an arena football team. Like, I don't really, I know we've got one. I don't know that much about Columbus. Yeah, don't we have the Gladiators?
Yeah, we have the Gladiators,
yeah.
I think.
I don't know.
But they must be in a different league because I was,
I don't know if they're playing this year.
Apparently the Columbus Destroyers are not that good. They're not destroying much of anything. But, boy, they got a turnout there, boy.
I went to one arena football league game in probably 2012. After day drinking all day. Me and a couple of my buddies were wasted, and we're like, we're going to go watch this.
Right.
And you're, like, on the field. When you, like, go see that, you're right there.
Oh, yeah. Because there's no one there.
Right. It was nuts.
I don't know. It looks like they're still going.
There you go.
Yeah, arena football. It's fun. I mean, if you're in the mood. We had the Chicago Rush at home. I think, like, Mike Ditka was their coach or something the very first season. He'd just walk in, hey, do that. Mm-hmm. They'd pay him a lot of money. But I didn't know that, like I said, I didn't know they had any kind of... I know they got the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
I thought that was the extent of their professional sports.
Well, they got the crew, too.
When we tried to check into our hotel, it was all the visiting fans.
Oh, yeah, when we went to... we were staying right in that same area, and it was all the Toronto Maple Leaf fans.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
There was a huge line.
Were they playing Saturday night?
No, this was in December. When we were
I was
going
to say, I didn't think they were still playing.
Mary and I got in a fight that night.
Oh, about what? About farting in your refrigerator?
Mary was...
No, I
just
wanted
all
to
the things
stay
that she
out.
said.
I wanted to stay out, and he didn't want to. And he made a scene in public.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stayed out, and he didn't. And then I got into I was drunk and high, and I got back into the hotel.
I think I remember you guys talking about
this. And she woke me up from a dead sleep.
So he was doing the thing where, like, his eyes weren't even closed. They were, like, fluttering. And I walked in. I took my shoes off. I was like, wake up. We're talking about this.
So it's not that he didn't want to go out. He didn't want to babysit
He didn't
you.
want to stay out.
He didn't want to babysit you.
He didn't want to babysit
I was also getting creeped on real hard by a dude.
Yeah, we talked about this. He really was.
Oh, that was a bad thing?
Like, real bad.
Oh, yeah?
It was real creepy. Yeah.
Was he cute?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, okay.
Creeped on by
But
a
even
dude.
if he was, it doesn't matter. Like,
how does that impact?
He wasn't, like, trying to... He was probably trying to wear my skin more than anything. Like, he was a super big fan.
Like, literally get under
and
it?
then like, he was... just wasn't picking up on the cues that, like, hey, dude, you're real drunk. You need to go home. And that's like, I told him that, and he just kept, like, showing up again.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Mister, if you let me go, I won't press charges, I promise.
Now it places the lotion in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket!
Mm-hmm.
I love the Joe Dirt.
The great Ted Levine from Parma, Ohio.
All right, you broken record.
Did you know there is now a Grandpa's Cheese Barn store in Summit Mall?
No.
Yes, in Akron.
Oh, good for you.
That's where Summit Mall is.
Do they have the eggs?
So it's just like an outlet store. It's like a...
I think it's just like... It might be just a kiosk, but... It's
now,
there.
are you...
Oh, that
now,
makes more sense.
Do they replicate the experience where you can rent out kiosks in the mall overnight?
Sleep in and just...
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really want to find it.
You'll find me inside Sunglass Hut if you need me. All right, let me break. We'll come back, get out of here. Your Tribe pregame is set for shortly after 5:30. 6:10, they start up tonight at Progressive Field against the... Who? Athletics, playing the A's tonight.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
From the Universal Windows
podcasts from around the globe. iHeartRadio now lets you follow your favorite podcasts to get real-time updates when new episodes drop. Plus, you can set your podcast to auto-download episodes, so you always have the latest on your phone waiting for you to listen, even if you don't have a connection. And it's all yours for free. Get the entire universe of audio with one touch. Your music, your stations, and now #1 for podcasts.
Alexa, play The Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.
Getting the latest episode of The Alan Cox Show. Here it is from iHeartRadio.
Wherever you are, so are we. The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Now it's time to give stuff away. Alan is giving some stuff away.
There are a couple of tickets for Monster Jam Thunder Alley at Cedar Point this summer. It's the 18th through June 30th. 18th of this month through June 30th. Get up close, sit in, even ride some of your favorite Monster Jam trucks. All new limited time experience. CedarPoint.com for all the info. Caller number 13. Those are yours. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Press the yellow button to begin enjoying your Alan.
What is an Alan? The Alan Cox Show
On 100.7 WMMS.
All right, we got to go. What do you got coming up, William?
This Sunday, I'm doing a show with Mary Santora at Fat Guys in Berea. Doors are at 7, shows at 8. It's going to be on the patio, weather permitting. If not, we'll move it inside. You can go to BillSquire.com to get those tickets. And then the following week, I'll be headlining Hilarities on June 2nd. Also, links at BillSquire.com or Hilarities.com. And then follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BillSquire.
Mary?
This weekend, I'm headlining the Funny Stop down in Cuyahoga Falls. So if anybody's down in the Akron area, you can call 330-923-4700. If you use my name, you actually get free tickets on Thursday and then 2-for-1 tickets on Friday. So call the Funny Stop. Just say that you were listening to WMMS, and they'll hook you up with those tickets. And then if you're in the Cleveland area... Yes. The Cleveland area, next Friday is the next Final Fridays at Battery Park Pub.
All right, cool. Tribe Games next. We'll talk to you again tomorrow at 2. And thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you in hell.
The Buzzard. This cat has 9 lives. If we were to, I don't know, throw it out this window, it's fine because it still has